What is it like to convert to the Mormon Church as a teenage young woman from India? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mormon Stories podcast. I'm your host, John DeLynn. It's July 23rd, 2025. We've done over 2,000 episodes of Mormon Stories podcast, and we, as far as I remember, have never covered the story of a convert from the country of India. And today, we are going to be doing just that. We have in studio Sirisha Shumway. Hey, Sirisha.
Hi, John.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for inviting.
Yeah. Can you believe we've done almost well over 2,000 episodes?
Oh, my God.
And we've never covered a convert from India.
There's always a first.
Yeah, there's always a first.
It's about time. It's about time.
And of course, we have Margie with us today as well. Hey, Margie.
Hi. Hello.
Everyone always loves it when you're here. So,
I'm glad to be here.
yeah, today's episode is truly epic. Obviously, the Mormon Church doesn't have a lot of converts in the country of India or China, and I want to understand why that is. But also, this is going to be an episode about defying your parents and your family of origin, what type of sacrifice it is to join a church, an American church like the Mormon Church in a country like India, where they take things like that very seriously. So there's going to be some familial and parental alienation involved. And we're going to be talking heavily about informed consent and exploring whether people who convert to the Mormon Church, especially in foreign countries, receive all the information that they need to make an informed decision. But this is also a triumphant story of courage and of resilience and of growth. And that's all I've got to say about that, Sirisha. Anything you want to add?
You covered it all.
Yeah? Okay. Well, I guess before we begin, do you have an intention that you wanted to share about why you wanted to tell your Mormon story?
My intention is basically, I'm not here to change anybody. That's what I want to do. I don't want this to be like someone, she's trying to. I'm not. This is for my kids. For my kids and for them to really know. I mean, they're too young now. They wouldn't understand what I went through. But when they grow up, probably, you never know the time. Maybe I might be around or not. But I want them to look here and be proud of the mother they have.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Is there also a desire, let's just say there's people maybe in foreign countries, maybe teenage girls or boys or young men or young women who are considering joining the Mormon Church, but maybe aren't getting all the information from the missionaries, maybe in Africa.
Yeah.
Maybe would a side motive be that you want to help people gain a full set of information so that they can make informed decisions?
Absolutely. Okay. I wish somebody did that to me.
Yeah.
I wish somebody did that. But it never happened.
Yeah.
And if I could be of help for anybody, I would be honored. And I'm always open, not just for the podcast or something. I'm open to talk. There was a time that I didn't want to talk about it. I'm trying to process, but I'm in a position to talk about it now. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, before we actually jump into your Mormon story, I have a question about the Mormon Church missionary program and the state of the Mormon Church in India. Because of all the current and former Mormon missionaries I've ever met, very few to none have ever served in India. Now, Margie, you're nodding your head. Is that right?
Yeah.
And that's weird because, as I understand it, India is either the first or second most populous country in the world.
Yes.
We're talking over 1 billion people. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you would think that the Mormon Church would have the most missionaries in India, especially because, as I understand it, India doesn't forbid missionary work like China does.
Yeah.
And so my first question is, why aren't there 20 or 40,000 Mormon missionaries just in the country of India? And you may not know, but just tell us what you know about India, its religion, its culture, and why the Mormon Church may or may not be super strong there, if you have any idea.
I'm honestly, I'm not someone to speak on that because I was not quite sure. But I think the missionary work started in India back in the 80s or even early 80s, 1980s.
Okay.
Yeah, back in the 80s. They didn't have much success. They didn't have many missionaries. And I think there was one couple, I'm really not quite sure. It's been a long time. Indian couple, they met the missionaries here in the States, and then they invited them to come to India. They didn't have many people. I don't know the reason, but for now, I think the church in India is very strong. It is growing than before. When I joined back in 1995, we were going in small home groups, but now there are big chapels, and I think they're even talking about temples in India. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask the question from a slightly different angle. If you think about your average Indian family, if you think about Indian culture, what is it about Indian culture that would make Indians maybe less open to an American religion or a Christian religion or the Mormon religion, let's just say, than maybe other countries or cultures? Can you think of anything about Indian culture?
It's basically a Hindu country.
Okay.
It is not a Christian country. Like, unlike other countries, you're talking about Africa or other countries. India is a predominantly Hindu country,
Right.
and Islam. And it's a amalgamation of different religions, like Hinduism. We have Muslim. We have a lot of Muslim population, Christians. We have lot Jains and a lot of religions. One thing is a lot of our Orthodox Hindus, to start with, they're very less Christians, and most of the missionaries, I feel like they approach the Christians to. It's easier, I think, for the Christians to, join to listen than Hindus or other religions. I don't know the exact reason, but. Yeah, but as a people, as a country, we are open. We respect all religions. But conversion-wise, there are some. It's not really as easy as it sounds. That it's not like, oh, why can't they come and have more missionaries? It's still, we have religion is conversion into the other religion is not. How do I say it? It's not easy. It's not just a family thing. It's also the government or other things. I can talk to you more about this later. What some of the first missionaries, how their thing happened. But yeah.
Okay. So let's just say the average Mormon missionaries go to an average Indian family, knock on the door and say, "Hey, we're Mormon missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we want to teach you a lesson about Jesus."
Yeah.
What would the average Indian family say to that?
They say yes.
Okay.
Most average. They say they're not because they are dying to know about Christ. Even if they're Hindus, we are very hospitable. I don't know if that is the right word. Culture. Like, when someone comes to your home, you don't just kick them out. And especially, we have most of our missionaries are from Utah. Are white people. So we are curious Indians, when we see white people, young guys, and, they look different. First of all, we look different than our skin color, hair, and everything. And then we have a Caucasian, white, it's a known thing, if you go there in India, people will go, "Ooh, there's a white man walking,"
Yeah.
And then these two missionaries with their white shirt, tie, name tag, and they're coming and knocking. Yeah, they would invite you. They would want to listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then let's say for the average Indian family, the missionaries teach 2-3 discussions over a few days and then challenge that Indian family to get baptized. What would the average response be?
Average, that's when it gets tricky because, they are hospitable. They would love to invite you. They'll give you food. It's very common in our culture, even though the host doesn't have food themselves, but they would give something. They will treat you well. They will do. But they're also, they're also very dedicated to their religion, either Hinduism or even some of the church or whatever. So it is kind of hard. When I was on my mission, it was kind of hard to get those commitments. Talking to people was easy. Going into people's houses was easy. You make a good bond with them. And then when it comes to baptism, that's like, oh, no,
They'd say what? We what?
They would be like, they wouldn't make commitments. Indians also have a hard time saying no. They will say something like, I'll do my best to get baptized, or I'll do my level best. These are the words we say. It's kind of hard for us to say no. Or I had experiences where they lock the door and go out when they know that we are coming. Oh my gosh, they're coming again. So very few people, they'll come up front and say, hey, we don't want to be baptized, They can come to church too. There are a lot of Hindus, during Christmas time, you see them going to church. Even some of we respect religion because we all live together. So and we do. But then when it comes to getting baptized and stuff, some people would not make that change, that big change. No.
Okay. And just for those who are curious, I asked the internet. According to the internet, there are 4 LDS church stakes in the entire country of India. 4 stakes.
Okay, that's
so like there's 4 stakes in like a square mile here in Holiday, right?
Yeah.
So 4 stakes in 3 districts. So there's 7 stake equivalents in an entire country of 1 billion plus people. So I mean, that is pretty small.
Yeah, but for India, that is big, I would say.
Okay.
It is growing, I would say. If it is 4 stake, and then it is growing, because when I was there, there was, I think, 1 stake. I don't.
No, it says the first LDS stake was established in Hyderabad in March of 2012. So this says the first stake, LDS church stake in India,
that's where I'm
was
from.
13 years ago.
Oh, that's where
you're from.
That's where
you're from Hyderabad.
I mean, I'm different places. I'll tell you, it's a long story, but I spent a lot of time, and I have some dear people there. Yeah.
Okay.
Hyderabad is home.
Okay, last question, and then we'll go into your story. Is the Mormon Church even known for the average person in India?
No, absolutely not.
So people have no idea
it's
who
not
Mormons
like
are.
if you talk about, Christianity is a known thing, if you go, I'm saying Christian, but, if you say you're a Mormon, it's not like you're a Mormon. No, it's not. Average Indian doesn't know about Mormonism.
So if you say, I'm a Mormon, an India person would say what?
No,
what's a Mormon? Basically?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let's talk about your upbringing.
Yeah.
Even before meeting the missionaries, tell us just about your parents, your birth, your family, and whatever happened in your life that led you to the church.
Yeah, I was born in southern India, and I'm the only child to my parents. Only daughter, only child, yeah. And both of my parents were working. My dad is very responsible. What do you say? Like, he's a gazetted officer. I don't know if you have that in the United States. He's like very higher government official. And my mom was also a nurse for the government, like hospital. So they both are, they were living in a, like, we call it agency area. Not even many Indians wouldn't know. It's like interior. It's like not just villages, but it's very rough area. They didn't have good schools, so they asked my grandma to raise me in a place called Vijayawada. So that's where I spent most of my childhood, growing up years. And my home environment is not something that conducive to, I wouldn't call it as a healthy or happy environment for any kid to grow. It was a very abusive family. My dad had alcoholic issues and issues with money, and my parents, obviously, with those things would fight, and it was hard. I was protected by my grandma a lot, I would say. She took good care of me, and she was always there for me. But I used to spend in Vijayawada with my grandma. But when I used to see my parents during the summers in those villages, it was very rough. It was traumatic experiences. There were times that my dad would drink alcohol and abuse my mom, and we had to leave the house in the middle of the night to escape that abuse. So it wasn't a very happy childhood or something. So after that, I moved to different places with my uncles. With my mom has siblings, and I almost spent time with all of them. But I there was a time I think I felt that my dad loved me, and he told my mom, "Oh my God, okay." He said, "I don't want my daughter to be away from me," and he wanted me to be with him. So they brought me to this place called Rajamandri, and they both were not working in that place again. I was there, and it was not a happy childhood. It was filled with lot of struggles, emotional and physical abuse. Whatever my parents were going through, they couldn't show it on each other. They showed it on me, and it was very rough childhood. My neighbors who used to see me, they would be saying things like, make sure you study hard, make sure you get a very good job so that you go out of this house and live a happy life. So from a very young age, I knew that I wanted to be something big. And my dad also had big dreams for me, because I come from a family of very highly educated people. My aunts, uncles, my cousins, the engineers, doctors in the family, very highly educated family. And my dad always would say, I want you to become something like him, a higher government official. He would say, when you walk, I want people to stand up and, wish you. Like when he used to walk, people would say, they stand up, say namaste, sir, like that. So my dad had that. Respect him because he holds that position in the government.
Yeah.
So, and my dad always used to say that to me. I want you to be like that, for a person who was born in those days, for him to say to a girl, generally they expect to a boy, like especially in my culture. But my dad he would say that to me. I want you to be that powerful and strong woman.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
In your teen years, did you move back in with your parents, or were you always raised by extended family, even in your teenage years?
I think I was about 12 or 13 when I moved back to my parents.
Okay.
It's the place is called Rajamandri. It's in southern India.
Okay.
A very beautiful place.
Real quickly, in terms of religion, were you raised with a religion at all? And if so, what was that like?
Religion was not a big part of growing up, because my family is a mixture of different religions.
Which ones?
Hinduism and Christianity. So some of my family members followed very strong Hinduism. Honestly, when I was living with my grandma growing up in Vijayawada, my uncle, who is my mom's brother and grandma and me, we used to live in one portion of a house. And then my mom's sister and her husband used to live in the other portion. And my mom's sister and her husband are very, very Orthodox Hindus. So growing up, my uncle would make sure I wake up early in the morning, shower, get ready, and do puja with him. And
what is that?
Puja is... it's a worship. It's a Hindu ritual. Like he has pictures of almost all the Hindu gods in the house. And every room he filled, even on the top of the fridge, everywhere, he would chant the Hindu slokas and mantras. And he taught me those things. And I used to do that with him. And he used to have a bell. This is a ritual I had to do every single morning with him before I go to school. So mostly I would say I have Hindu upbringing because of my uncle. He would take me to temples. We used to go to a place called Tirupati, which is a very famous place for Hindus to go. So, and in Vijayawada, we used to have this temple called Kanakadurga temple, and he used to take me there. So I have more of a Hindu upbringing, and Christianity is kind of limited to Christmas. On Christmas, we used to go to the church, and for me, at the most, I was focused on the cake. That's all I'm there for. They'll give the cake. So from my mom's side of the family, my grandpa used to be a pastor in Salvation Army. So we did have some connections there, but my family doesn't really practice Orthodox Christianity.
And when you say you used to go to the church, meaning the Christian church, which one? Like
the Salvation Army.
That's a church?
The Salvation Army was a church. Is a church. Yeah.
So I think like there's Catholic, there's Methodist, there's Baptist.
Yeah, the Salvation Army is, they even have in the States. I
mean, I've heard of the Salvation Army, but I've always thought of it as like a nonprofit that helps, countries, but not as a religion. But,
Yeah, that's what I observed here in the States, I see them during Christmas, doing those things. In India, it is a church. We have a church building.
Okay.
And my grandpa used to be pastor, and he was also working for the government. So he was a convert to Christianity and changed his name, and he followed Salvation Army. And I think they have this thing called soup, soap, and salvation. Means like when a person is hungry, you give them food, you give them shelter. Salvation comes at the end preaching, but you care for the others.
Soup, soap, and salvation.
That's what I heard. My grandpa loved the church so much. His oldest son, he named him William Booth. William Booth is a founder of Salvation Army.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's kind of the philosophy of meeting people's basic needs first.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I ask you, as your dad is kind of, in many ways being progressive and saying, hey, you can be like me. You should, aim high and maybe work for the government or be respected one day. Did that fill you with, is that something you wanted for yourself as he was talking to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so funny. Indians love movies. We are crazy about them. And there were times there's this movies where the women police officer are beating up bad guys. I'm like in that zone, I'm going to be this one. I'm going to be someone respected, or like doctor. I always imagined myself when I thought of my future, all the time at that time, it was always like in a powerful position, like how my dad expected. And my dad was a gem of a person with his Ray-Ban glasses and his he truly took care of his people, and they all loved him, and he wanted that. And I got a lot of respect in that area because of my dad. The good things, amazing things he have done to the tribes there. Honestly, for me, if people that are very close to my heart, I would say the tribals in Andhra Pradesh, in the Addatigala, Vairamvaram, the place I grew up. I relate with them more than any other group of people on this earth. I feel that they are mine.
Oh, I love that. That feels like home.
It is.
To you.
Absolutely.
To be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the 1990s when you're, let's just say 10, 11, 12. Is that right? The late 1990s?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what the perception was of America in, when you were a young girl or teenage girl. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it mixed? Or did you even think about America?
Yeah, were you aware of America?
America in those days was a glory. It's way above than being good or better. Everybody dreamed about that. And if you
Dreamed of
have
what? Dreamed of-
come to the U.S. or
okay.
even meet somebody from here.
Yeah.
So it was. It's not like now. It is in those days. That's a big deal, really big deal. Like people used to say proudly, "Oh, my brother's friends used to live. Is living in the States," and you'll be like, "Oh, really?" People would be. Yeah, it is a big thing. I think even now a little bit, I think it is wearing off right now with the things that is going. But in those days, it is like even if you can just come once to this country, oh my goodness, yeah.
Do you have a sense for why America was so
I think the
well
way
respected?
the media portrayed, I think in those days, like the movies that it's funny.
Hollywood?
It's in the Indian movies, the Telugu, which is my mother tongue, or even the Bollywood movies. Anytime they show America, it's like huge skyscrapers, super fast cars, people living the best, nice houses and stuff. When I really came, I was like, oh, this is not what I saw in the movie. It's much different, but it is what it is. And also, the people who come from U.S., like Indians who lived there and came back, they have this swag, they have certain, thing, and we will be, oh, you came from the States, we would be like, yeah. So there was it is a really big deal back in those days. It's like someone even if you know someone who's living there, it's like a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's talk about your teenage years and how you ended up meeting Mormon missionaries.
Yeah. So as I told you, so my dad told my mom, I want my daughter. I don't want her to be anywhere else. Let's bring her here to Rajahmundry. So it is a central place to the place where both of them working. So my dad would come like once a week to see me, and my mom would go in the morning, come in the evening. She used to work in a different city too. So they took a house for rent, and I was staying there. So one day the missionaries came actually to my neighbor's home, and it is 1995. So in India, we have this thing. If there is any white people, we just want to go see them. We don't know what they're doing, we just want to see them. So the neighbor girls, they said, there are some Americans in my house. I'm like, really? So I went and called all the neighborhood kids. And they said, there's some Americans there. Just go see them. So there was like, the room was like, I don't know, a really small room. Indian houses are not huge. The living room is really small. There were like 20 kids sitting. I gathered everybody in the neighborhood. We just want to see them. It was like, and we were like, oh my God, blue eyes. We don't have blue eyes in India. So that was like, oh my God. So we were just like, admiring them, seeing somebody that close from a different culture and interested in what they are saying, why they are here. So they came to our neighbor's home, and they were teaching our neighbors. And you know how the missionaries are. I mean, they show that love to you. They show that care to you. None of them, they got baptized. There were like, I don't know how many families, kids are there, and the neighbor, they didn't take, as I said earlier, they will invite you. They will, talk to you. But when it comes to baptism, they might not, like that idea. So same thing happened with these families that are around there. So none of them, not one family, although there were so many that missionaries went to, not one of them wanted to be baptized. So for me, it was different. The reason is, for me, somebody even sitting there to talk to me and to listen and care for me was a big deal. As someone who was in I would say, a vulnerable state, a young girl who was 13, 14 at that time, and who grew up in an abusive family, who nobody ever sat with her, gave her any importance or talked to her, showed her love. When she saw these two missionaries caring, and I was immediately, drawn. I'm like, I'm so interested what they have to say. They're showing so much interest in me. And they would give me scripture things to read. They gave me Book of Mormon. I was the only one who would read. And I wouldn't understand anything. First of all, English is not my first language. My
again,
mother.
your first language, tell us again.
Telugu. Telugu.
Telugu.
Telugu.
Okay.
Telugu. Yeah, that's I speak Hindi and other languages too, but but English was not, at that time, was not my strength. So especially Book of Mormon English was very different. So I wasn't even understanding what it is, saying. So I would read 3-4 times, try to make a sense out of it. It was still difficult. But I was obedient. When the missionaries told to read, I would read. I'm the only one who would read too. Rest of them, they would be like, oh, this is an American book. It is printed in America. That's all they care about. For me, I was like, they cared about me. They showed me that love and concern. And it's my minimum respect to read that.
Yeah.
Do what they asked me to do. So I was doing everything they asked me to do. Yeah.
So I'm just so fascinated with why the church isn't bigger in India. So I Googled and I asked how many Mormon missions are in the Philippines, right? Just trying to think of a big country, relatively close to India, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to guess how many missions are in the Philippines?
There are a lot. Philippines, I think they have a lot of missions.
There's 26 missions
in
the Philippines. Do you know how many there are in India?
2?
There's 2.
2.
Yeah, and India has way more people.
Yeah.
So I asked what it is about the Philippines that makes it way more compatible to Mormon missionary work. And here's what it says: that the dominant religion in the Philippines is Roman Catholicism, that Christian doctrines and the concept of Jesus align well with the Filipino people, and that converting to another Christian faith is socially acceptable. So the flip side, in India, Hinduism and Islam are the dominant religions. Yes. So people aren't primed for Christianity.
Kind of what you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And then also the idea of a single savior and Western style worship is culturally foreign.
Yes, yeah.
So the idea of one true church or like the savior.
It's very hard concept to, especially people who grew up in Hinduism, because in Hinduism, there are so many Hindus.
And so many
there
gods.
There are so many gods.
Yeah.
And nobody is fighting, my God is better than your God, or my God is the only true God, not yours, or my temple. When I say temple, it's a Hindu temples.
Yeah.
So, people go whichever is close to their home, whichever is convenient to them. It is not like, oh, why are you going to that temple? You should go. So there is no division in Hinduism. As a religion, it is united.
Interesting.
And for them to see there is a Jesus as a savior, one person, it's not
Yeah,
that's what I was telling before, because converting from Christianity to, Mormonism is easier than converting from Hinduism or even Islam is very hard.
Yeah. The last point it makes is that conversion from Hinduism or Islam is often seen as betrayal and is socially frowned upon in India.
Yeah. Yes, I would agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's relevant to your story, which is why I brought it up. So, okay. So I'm hearing so far that you were open to the Mormon missionaries. Number one, because they were white Americans, right?
Curiosity.
I would have even if they're Indians also, I would have, but the fact that they showed the care for me. The initial interest is, they are white. That's where I first went, just to see, because I have never seen white people that close. But I think that later, it's more about the care they showed towards me.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about that. But I was going to also ask, is it possible part of your interest was that you came from an unhappy home in childhood?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There were so many kids that day. They didn't even come to my house. The missionaries didn't even come to my house.
Yeah.
There are so many kids. There are so many families there. But they didn't come from a broken family like me, because they already are seeing that love, that care, that concern already in their home. So whatever the missionaries showed, they just didn't care much. For me, that was a novelty. That is something that never happened in my family. My grandma loved me. I'm not saying denying that. And she is probably one person in my entire family that really protected me, really loved me. But our culture is so different. Like my grandma would die for me, but she never said, I love you, or give me a hug, or say you're special.
Oh, really?
In our culture, it is not common. We show through actions. a father and mother can, do anything for their kids, but saying I love you, I think it is changing. The trend is changing these days, but back then it's not what people do. They show their love by actions. They take care of you. They cook food for you. They protect you. They pay for your school, everything, but out loud. But when I went to church for the first time, I saw the couple missionaries. Oh, they hugged me, and then they say, "Oh, you are so special." I was like, "Oh my goodness," that never happened. And for me, in my immature, naive, young brain, I related something differently completely. I thought these people love me more than my family.
Right.
It was like,
just because they said the words.
They said the words. They gave me hugs. They were like, "Oh, you are so special." And I think that is all genuine. Yeah, it is. I feel, but I was like, "Oh my goodness, these people love me."
Yeah.
I was so drawn, so attached because I didn't get that, Now I think back and see how silly it is for me to think that way, that they loved me more than my family. But it was what I believed at that time, unfortunately.
Okay, that's powerful. I can already see you're feeling a lot of emotions when you say that.
Yeah.
What are you feeling?
I mean, I wish somebody can just slap me on the head and say, "What are you thinking?"
Why?
How can I even think that way, that they loved me? They have an agenda. They have an agenda. Their agenda is to convert and make people stay. Their agenda is not truly love me for who I am, for what I truly am. My family is love me for what I am, especially my grandma. I don't know if my parents loved me as much, but for my grandma, I was a big disappointment to my grandma.
When
I joined the church, yeah.
Okay.
Big disappointment. She's tried to stop me so much. And somehow I thought, these people loved me more than my grandma. How wrong I was.
I'm so sorry.
Well, I feel so much, though, for you as a girl and what you've described so far. Because I think we talk about basic needs, and we talk about shelter or food or basic kind of health care. But I think this love and care being felt by a child. What I hear is my grandmother loved me and my parents loved me, but I think oftentimes, and I think that's so true for, many children looking back, they can see later, but sometimes as a child, you don't feel it though. You don't feel the care, you don't feel the presence even of them looking at you and really seeing you or feeling valued by them, known by them. And so it's a basic need, though. And I think as a child, when you don't have that, and then it does leave you vulnerable to no fault of your own, You're just literally unconsciously, you're not even aware of it. You're trying to get your needs met.
Yeah.
And this lure, this offering, made by the missionaries, it hit you at this foundational level of I need that. And you did. That's the thing. You did. It's just what they were holding. Now you can see that. But I have all the love and compassion for the girl you were and your needs and your experience of love at that point and how desperate you were to feel it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm torn between, on the one hand, a missionary church can provide what a potential convert isn't receiving. And in that sense, they're meeting an unmet need.
Exactly.
But the flip side or the dark side of that is it can also be framed as preying on the vulnerable.
Yeah.
And how can any of us, I think most missionaries are just trying to do good.
Yeah.
So how do we thread that needle of taking advantage of the vulnerable on the one hand, or helping a kid who feels like she needs love and giving her love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to make sense of that.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't blame anybody here because the missionaries, especially the two elders that baptized me, they were young at that time. Now that I think of it, at that time I was only 13, 14 and they were like older, but now they're just like 18-year-old kids. Mm-hmm. And they are only doing what they're taught to do ever since they, 8 months old, from a childhood, from their babies onwards.
Yeah.
They're only doing what they're taught to do.
Yeah.
That's it. They are not understanding the implications, or they don't understand how it could impact. Honestly, I don't even think even the couple missionaries at the time were even understanding the impact of this, breaking this family dynamic, because it is very, very common. I personally know a lot of people that in India during the time the missionaries baptized. When I went to church in Rajahmundry, there were just like 3 families. That's it. It was in a home. It is somebody's home. They rented that house, and the church used to be there. The missionaries used to live on the downstairs, and the church was like upstairs, couple of rooms. Very less members. There's just 3 families. Most of them are youth. Their parents are not there. The parents are just thinking, they're just going. Because as I said, in India, we respect all religions. A Hindu person would come to church on Christmas. Christian can go to temple. It's not very strict. So they were sending, and then the missionaries are teaching, and sometimes it breaks those families' ties.
Yeah.
And it has a big impact on family.
Yeah.
Very, very big impact.
And we can just maybe have a moment of acknowledging kind of a little white saviorism going into...
Or colonialism.
Going into places where, there's not a full understanding, I think, of culture and kind of what's at stake and what their actions are actually doing to people and their families. And holding that lens for real.
Yeah, I don't even think today any of these missionaries who are going to India today, these young kids, have any idea of what they're doing to the people there.
Yeah.
Maybe some families it works. I'm not denying that. There are successful people who came, they join, and they're living and stuff. But I personally know some people who who break their families and had this distance. It is not a good thing. No.
So let's talk about how much of it was the teachings that really converted you versus the church attendance experience versus the missionaries. Talk about the elements of your missionary experience that were most convincing to convert you when most Indians are not primed to convert to a church like the Mormon Church.
Okay, so I would say, again, it's a combination of all those things, not just one.
Talk about
even the teachings. When you say teachings, when they come and they say that, God loves you so much, He died even for you, and that is not a concept in Hinduism. That, of course, God loves, but it is not taught like in a strong sense the way Mormonism teaches. Hinduism is more like a ritual. People are not sitting and preaching. You go to the Hindu temple, the priest there, the pujari, he's not giving a sermons. They do give sermons sometimes, but it is not like you're not going there. You're going and, giving flowers and, to the priest, and he's doing this ritual of puja, and you're coming back within 10, 15 minutes. So the concept that, for me, that, as I said, I was so love deprived at home, not just love deprived, but living in a constant state of fight and flight, stressful mode, because it's an extremely, extremely abusive family.
Yeah, volatile.
Very abusive, verbal and physical abuse on a daily basis, extreme level. It was really, really bad. I wouldn't even blame my mom, because she has going through a lot of, I think, her own mental health. In those days, mental health was not something we are even aware of, or
right.
The things she's going with my dad. It was too much. So for me, that God loves me and he even died for me, I was like, what? And then the way they portrayed Joseph Smith, he saw God and he did this. And there were movies in those days, they glorify these things, and they will show in the video cassettes they used to have.
What do you remember of those Joseph Smith movies that stick in your mind?
They were like all kinds of things, like, how he fought for the truth, how he was always honest, and, he never drank alcohol. When they talk about word of wisdom, they always start with story about how during the surgery, he asked his mom to hold rather than drink it. I was like, oh my God, really? This person, like, I never met Joseph, of course, not because, but I had such devotion and love for him. He's a prophet of God. He even saw God. He did so much sacrifice. How he has to hide the golden plates. Especially his story about how in the cottage jail, like, he would rather die than deny the truth. I was like, if he can die for this, I would live for this. I can die for it too.
I'm just having this thought now. If you're taught about this amazing, perfect man named Joseph Smith, who didn't drink alcohol even when he was having his leg cut open as an anesthetic, and you have a dad who's abusing alcohol and abusing you, that would be very compelling if true.
Exactly. I'm trying to. There were some gaps in my own life at the time as a kid. And I'm thinking, I'm just, filling those gaps. I'm feeling, oh my goodness, these people don't even drink alcohol. I have developed such an aversion towards alcohol from what I have seen in my own family, in my thing. Even it's been, like I don't ever touch it. I'm never going to touch. It's not because of some God is going to punish me, but because of what it has done in my own life, I will probably never touch it. I don't know. So, So it is filling those teachings, again, coming back to the question, it is those a combination of those teachings, and also when I went to the church for the first time or during this time, I felt so much loved by people, and people would come, shake hand, tell their name, and hey, like the youth, very good friends. And I was like, oh my goodness, what did I do to deserve this? There are 1.2 billion people in this country, and I was a chosen one to be part of this. I felt like, I can't tell you how blessed and top of the world I felt to be part of this. The portrayal it gave, the thing they taught about Joseph Smith. And I thought, at least once in my life, I should go see his house, in New York. And, I was like dreaming of that. I wanted to dedicate my life. I could do anything for this church. And I did everything.
Yeah.
Above, beyond, and much more.
Okay, so what led to your conversion and your baptism? What was that like, and with your family and everything?
Okay, before that, I need to go back a little bit. There was one point of time, I told this story to a lot of, even in my testimony meetings, a lot. My parents actually never liked me meeting missionaries, never. Like initially it was like, they were like, she's just going just to see them. But I started to get serious. I was spending a lot of time reading Book of Mormon and all those things. My mom was like, as I said, my family is so obsessed with education. My mom thinks every waking up minute, except you are either studying or you sleep, or you study, you go to school. That's it. There is no time for anything else. So when she saw me spending time on reading Book of Mormon, she didn't like it at all. She's like, you need to stop it. You need to focus on your education and stuff. And finally, one day she really said, you can't meet them anymore. You are done. You can't meet them at all. And I said, okay. And I remember when the missionaries came to a neighbor's home and they were knocking on my door, My mom literally locked me inside and said, "You're not even opening the door. Let them knock and let them go." That's what I was telling you with Indians. They won't say no right straight to the face. They'll be like trying to do all these things. Anyway, so I felt like my heart was going out of my chest. It was like, oh my goodness, I can't do this. They have those teachings, they have those things. I felt like I'm missing on all of those things. And one day I was going to school. The missionaries, they saw me at the school and on the way to the school, and they said, if you're really interested, you can come to the church and we'll teach you there. So I cannot meet with missionaries in my home anymore or my neighbor's home anymore because my neighbors, they said they're not going to get convert. And my parents are not allowing the missionaries. So I used to go to the church after school, and I used to get the discussions, take the discussions at that time.
Okay, I have to ask a question then. So the Mormon missionaries from America knew, you're a minor, you're 14, right?
Yeah.
The Mormon missionaries knew that your parents did not want you taking
they know,
lessons,
absolutely.
and so they were willing to support you hiding and deceiving your parents. As a minor, they were supporting you taking lessons against the will of your guardians, of your parents.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems problematic from the morals and the values I was raised, in the sense that parents of minors should be respected, right?
Yeah. My parents were not at all happy with that. My mom literally shut the door. The missionaries know very well that my parents are completely against it. And I was on the way to school. They saw me, and I was like, okay, I can come to the church. So I finished the rest of the discussions at the church. Finally, they asked me to be baptized. And oh my goodness, my mom didn't even want these missionaries in the house. She didn't even want me to read the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Do you think she's going to say yes to baptism? Absolutely no. So I tried to ask. My mom would get angry and she would beat me up. So, and
Wait,
I would go.
You said beat you up?
Oh, I was physically abused by my mom. Physically.
Oh. So what the Mormon missionaries were doing to you was causing you to be not only disobey your parents, but to be beat by your parents, and they were okay continuing to teach you.
I don't know if
anyway.
they know at that time that I was physically beaten, but for sure they know that my parents are not happy with this. They know that for sure.
And
I don't know about the physical.
Were they concerned? Were they conflicted about disobeying your parents?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on in their mind. All I saw them was doing is encouraging me, and and I would say things like, I really want to get baptized. I wanted to at that time. And
but
they
again,
would say,
you're 14.
I was
right?
14, yeah.
I mean, can a 14-year-old consent? Like in several matters, it's understood that like sexually, a 14-year-old can't consent to sex with an adult. I wonder if religion should have that same level of I don't know, informed consent. You know what I mean?
Ethics.
Yeah.
I don't think religion should be an exception, because I would say religion is more, sexual acts are damaging, and so is religious thing too. Mm-hmm. It's not like anything simple. So I think, so for sure the missionaries, they know that my parents are not at all happy with that. I highly doubt if they know about the physical abuse that is going on, but for sure they know this is what. So they ask me, and they read the scriptures, the God will provide a way, 1 Nephi 3:7, if God commands, I will make provide. So on December 7th, I guess it was a first Sunday, and they fasted, and then they said, okay, we're going to ask your parents again. So the missionaries came to my home that day. My mom was not home. There was no way my mom would even let them in the house if she was there. Forget about giving consent for my baptism. They wouldn't be even in my house. And my dad, he was there, and he was under the influence. I don't know if the missionaries know that. I cannot speak to that about them, but the missionaries spoke to my dad, and I spoke, and the missionaries took a little piece of paper from their notebook. They wrote, I'm letting my daughter baptism, something. It's not like any official doc or anything.
It's a consent form.
It's a consent form, and my dad signed it. It's so funny. Later years, when I asked my dad, do you know that you are the one who gave me permission? He's like, I never gave you permission.
Well, you said in your outline he was drunk.
I'm not quite sure how drunk he was at that time, but I don't know if he's doing what he's at that time. I didn't know, but later when I asked him about his consent, and I told him, you were the one who gave, he said he never gave. He didn't even realize what he was doing.
And I remember reading in your outline that you were inspired by the story of Nephi.
Yes, exactly.
And Laban, because do you want to tell that?
Yeah. That's what I was told. That's what the Lord provided the way when the Lord asked Nephi to bring the plates from Laban. Nephi said, I hope I remember, I haven't read the scriptures in years, I will go and do the things the Lord has commanded, for God giveth no commandment to the children of men, save he should prepare a way. And Nephi, that was my inspiration. That was my inspiration.
Laban was drunk. Nephi wanted the plates. And so God basically told Nephi to wait till Laban was drunk, and then what?
Yeah, cut him off
cut his head off and steal the plates. In other words, God's okay for you to do bad things.
That's what at that time I thought. At that time, that was my rationale. I mean, I was 14. Please don't judge me for that.
No.
But at that time, yes, if God can, a good thing will happen from a bad thing, for me,
God's okay with that.
Yeah.
So deceiving your dad who's intoxicated to sign a consent form for your baptism, it's much less bad than killing, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about at that time like deceiving him or something, but I looked at it in a different way. I looked at it as God providing me the way.
That's right.
That was, I was thinking. It wasn't for me in my mind. It's like I'm deceiving him. Now, yes, I think, I shouldn't have done that, But at that time, I looked at myself as how God provided a way to Laban, Nephi. He's providing a way for me. That was I was looking at. And I got baptized, I was, it was funny. I was like taking some clothes, preparing myself, with my backpack. And I got baptized on December 17th, 1995.
And your parents didn't know?
No.
And you were 14, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. How was that?
The baptism day was like, I thought I achieved one of the greatest things. I felt more happy than someone who will get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay.
But it was very hard. Life from then was very hard and filled with so many sacrifices, especially Mormonism is not a once in a week, an hour or two kind of religion.
That's right.
It is not.
Yeah.
It is a daily religion.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you something very interesting. As a kid, I was very, very interested in music. And my mom, as I told you, only thing she believes is education. That's it. And she wouldn't allow me to go. So what I used to do, my mom used to put 10 rupees every day in a box when she was going to work to buy myself some lunch because she didn't have time to make it. So I would save up all that money and I joined myself in this music. It's called Kakatiya Music Academy. It's very famous in those days, right near to my school. I used to go and learn this instrument called veena. I used to play veena. It's an Indian instrument, and I used to learn Carnatic music, and I loved it. So when the seminary used to be after school in those days. So when I joined, so the seminary teacher came and said, now this is seminary, you have to join it. Now, I don't have enough time or enough, to manage my music and this, and also the timings. So I had to sacrifice. I gave up on my music lessons so that I can go to seminary 5 days a week.
So what it shows is you giving up something that really brought you a lot of joy, which was music, that you were willing to use your lunch money for, to have in your life. But when after you were baptized, you give up music and instead you start attending seminary.
Yeah. I mean, if it is a normal, healthy family, they would be like, okay, you can go to church and you can do this. But I didn't have the choice of doing all the things I wanted to. Right. Even Sunday, every Sunday was a struggle. And I don't ever remember missing Sundays. I was very, my mom was thinking that, I was going to church sometimes, but she doesn't know that I was baptized. I was this involved. Okay, she's just going with friends, or she's just coming, and not a big deal. But it wasn't. So it was a struggle. Sometimes she'll say, you can't go. Again, there was a lot of physical abuse, and I just went because for me, this means a lot. And I was seminary graduate. I did 4 years of seminary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I did everything, anything they asked. It's so funny, like when I was investigating, when the missionaries said they would give commitment about, I remember in India, if you go to an Indian family, they'll give you tea. Chai. So, and we gave the tea to the people, to the missionaries, and they said, no, we don't drink tea. And when they talked about word of wisdom, I don't know, I committed and I just said, okay, I actually love tea. And I said, yep, I'll never drink. It was not hard for me. It's very hard for an average Indian to give up their tea.
Yeah.
Well, isn't India the country of tea? Like, kind of.
We love tea. We love tea.
So there's that cultural layer too. Of
it's a culture. You go to anybody's home, you get tea. If you get anything, tea, samosas or whatever, but tea has to be there.
Yeah.
So for an Indian, when I was on a mission, people can give up everything but not their tea.
Yeah.
So for me, I was so committed. I told the missionaries, I will not drink tea.
Wow.
Never drank all those 24 years I was there, 24, 25.
Maybe that's another reason the Mormon church hasn't had as much success in India, because of tea. Seriously.
Maybe. Could be. Yeah. And even with tithing, when they said, will you pay 10% of everything? I was like 14. I don't know what I was thinking. I said, yep. And I did it until.
Do you know what I was thinking is also, it sounds like the moment that you got baptized and your parents didn't know about that, right?
Mm-mm.
That was something that you had to keep hidden.
Yes.
So you're the moment you got baptized and joined the Mormon church, in a way, was the moment you really had to start a double life.
I have to. It's very extremely hard as someone that young to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very hard. Yeah.
But I also want to know that you had a really rough life as a kid.
Yes.
And you probably joined, we've already talked about many of the reasons why you joined, but what I've noticed is that religion exists because it fits needs. It gives people community, it gives people friends, it gives people a set of morals, it gives people a sense of spirituality, it gives people answers about life and its purpose and the afterlife. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm guessing you felt like the church was benefiting your life.
Exactly.
Is that true?
Exactly.
And if so, can you tell us the ways that you felt like the Mormon church was blessing your life even after your baptism?
Yeah, it was blessing because I said is the love and the friendships I made there.
The community,
yeah. which I didn't have before. And the love and the acceptance, they have it. I got a sense of community. I think that's what people are really looking for. And I did get all those things, I had someone that I thought they cared about me, at least at that time. I had good friends. I forgot some of my pain, at least a couple of hours I was at the church. I have to give the credit where the credit is due. During that time, the little pockets of joy, the little pockets of happiness I ever felt were actually when I was with other Mormons.
Giving you safety.
Giving me safety, giving me a safety net to fall back on, to a place that I can go to.
I would also guess that, if your parents of origin aren't able to love you, believing that there's a Heavenly Father that loves you, like you said, a Heavenly Father that loves you unconditionally, that knows you, a Jesus figure who died for you.
Yeah.
I imagine that would almost help replace the role of loving, safe parents in your life. Is that right?
Yeah. And even the scriptures also says that, you need to love God more. Your parents even come after that. Do what is right first. Do
God
the church,
first.
the God first. Like what do we do in the temple? You are doing all your dedication to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, right? It's that thing that comes first.
Yeah.
Everything else is secondary. Probably if you go to a Hindu and if you say, I can't come to the temple anymore, my parents are upset, I don't know, the priest would say, okay, it doesn't matter what your parents would say, I don't know, it's not that strong there. But here, it was like, God will bless you, what you're going through. You'll give you tenfold, he'll give you 100-fold. And it was. And I wouldn't always, again, say I always had the safety net, even in the church. Yes, there are some good friends there. I'm not agreeing. But there are some people, it attracts some kind of people, I would say. Because there is this person, I'm not going to tell the name, but there is this person who was much older than me, way much older than me. And I used to call him Annaya. Annaya in India, when you say that in Telugu, it means you really consider them like your own brother. You're not just a friend or some colleague or something. You are like your own brother. And that's what I considered. And he used to call me that, Chelli. Chelli means like, like a younger sister. One day, he comes to me and he says, hey, I have to talk to you something. And it's like, what? Last night I was asleep and then the angel came to me. And the angel said, give me your hand. And I gave my hand and the angel held my hand. And the angel told me, Sirisha is not. God didn't create her to be your sister. She should be your wife.
Oh.
Wait, how old was he? About?
I don't know, late 20s, early 30s or something.
And you were how old?
I was like 14, 15 or
goodness.
something.
Wow.
And he was a member of the church?
Yeah. He
So
was.
what was that like for you?
Oh my goodness. I was shocked because for me, I considered him like a brother, and I didn't like that at all. And I went and told the bishop. They didn't do anything. They didn't say anything. I was like so shocked. And yeah, it was that kind of creepiness went on for some time.
Wow.
So that doesn't just happen in Utah, apparently.
Wow.
Apparently not. So
okay.
I had that experience in India.
So
It was
disturbing, yeah.
Very disturbing at that time, yeah.
Yeah, because how do you know that an angel didn't, as a 14-year-old girl, 15-year-old girl, how do you know that an angel didn't appear to him?
Yeah.
If angels appear to people, right?
Yeah, and also it is really the male patriarchy. First of all, India is a very, honestly, let's talk about the things. So males get always importance, even in a culture. I'm not even talking about the Mormon or Christian. In a culture like India,
Right.
where men are like, little above, they're treated differently. And to top it off with the Mormon concept of priesthood and all these things. Oh my goodness, some of the men in India, the way it's not pleasant to be around them. Honestly, I don't want to really go deep into that. It's really sometimes the way they treat women. I'm not again talking about all of them. There are some good Mormon members, but also it gives them already people who have this little egoistic thing. It gives them a boost.
That's right.
I feel like
amplifies
their thing, gives them more. It's not like in India, in my culture, like men will feel that way if they have done great things in life, like they have great education, we have big social status and stuff. And people, I'm not saying that's the right thing, but that's how it is. But if you come in the Mormon culture, people may not be even educated. They didn't even finish their +2, but they have the same level like other Indian who are having a big position or something like that, because they give that. Being confident is good, but here it is another level.
It sounds like it's bordering on being abusive.
Almost to be like that,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're saying Mormon priesthood and patriarchy can make some Mormon men
Yes.
bordering abusive when they really haven't achieved much in their life.
No,
right?
no, absolutely.
Okay.
Like, I know how some people treated me, and these people, some of these guys they didn't even like finish their undergrad. I'm not saying anything less or anything, but the way they would treat, like, and someone like I have dual masters, like in an outside world, even in India, a woman who was that educated, she wouldn't, take things from them. But then I was told constantly, oh, I need to respect that. If some person offends me or says, like something, and I go talk to a couple of missionaries, so-and-so did that, and they will say, you need to learn to forgive. God is trying to teach you a lesson. So it's always my fault. Like, I remember once a missionary, a male missionary. This was actually after my mission, almost right after my mission. He comes and he says, first of all, I wear very, conservative clothes, even in my culture and stuff. He comes and he says, your shirt is too tight and I'm not able to focus on the work or something like that. He came and told me. And I felt so terrible, like I'm such a bad person. I went and asked the sister, was my shirt too tight? Was it? And she's like, is my shirt too tight? She was like, getting conscious, about these things. Oh my goodness, it's your fault, right? In that culture, like, and not in my culture. I mean, I'm talking about in the Mormonism.
That's right.
If I would have a different thing to say to that elder if he comes to me now with that thing. But at that time I was like, you're always made yourself low.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you tell us whether you actually told your parents that you got baptized and what their reaction was?
Okay, I didn't tell, but they came to know. So I got baptized in 1995, December. I kept it for secret for a few years. Although my mom knows, yes, I'm meeting, church members, I go, but she has no clue about me going to seminary classes or spending all this time. So my mom came to know when the first building they built in, I think it's first or second, Rajamandri Chapel. So they built, that's where I grew up. I think I'm just chronologically going back and forth. I should really confuse. So, okay, let me take you back a little bit more. So I got baptized in Rajamandri, and I was going to church there, and it is becoming very hard because my mom was very against it. So for undergrad degree, I finished my +2, which is 12th grade, and undergrad degree, I thought, okay, this is it. I need to move to a different place. And there is this place called Hyderabad, which is not that far from Rajamandri. It's about 8 hours train ride, overnight train ride. The church is very strong there. Even in those days, they have 4 branches. So my parents doesn't know. My mom has no clue about that. So my mom said, well, why can't you stay here and study? And I said, no, I want to go to Hyderabad. I'll get more exposure. There are better colleges there. And that's how my mom better colleges? Okay, by all means, because she's very focused on education.
You spoke her value of education to her. Yeah.
Exactly. I spoke to her language, and I got accepted. I wrote the entrance test, and I moved to Hyderabad, stayed in a hostel, and was going to church. And I was like a free bird. I got all kinds of callings. I was even called, as soon as I came to Hyderabad, I was even called as a translator for the church. So I used to translate the non-scripture at that time, all the manuals, videos, and everything. And I had callings. I was young women president. I was doing everything. Oh my goodness. All these years of deprivation, I think I moved to Hyderabad sometimes towards the end of 1999. So all these years of, being scared to go to church. Now I'm freely able to go spend time and do all the things I wanted to. So that's how life was going. And then Rajamandri Chapel, they were building and dedicating that. So my mom was there, and I went to visit, and I thought, my mom would like it. She can meet some people. And I said, oh, the chapel they're dedicating, you want to just come in? It's like big, first time there, like, chapel. So, and I told everybody around. My mom doesn't know that I was baptized. I don't remember which year was that, Rajamandri Chapel dedication. I don't know if it is 2000 or something. I don't know. Good 5 years after my baptism, at least, Mm-hmm. And I was telling all my friends who were around there, please don't talk about my baptism. Please don't tell about me going to church or anything. Just, don't say anything. And I told almost everybody except one sister who talks a lot. And she's the one who was talking to my mom. And the moment I saw that sister talking to my mom, I went running to stop her, and it was too late. So she told my mom everything. Oh, your daughter is so active in the church in Hyderabad. She does this, she does that. My mom was, oh my goodness, you don't want to go there. I don't want to talk about it. This is she said, you deceived me all these years. You lied to me all these years. I will never. I broke her trust because she thought I went to Hyderabad and I'm not doing any churchy thing. I'm just focusing on my education. That's all I'm doing. There I am doing. Yes, I was getting education, but spending way more time on these things. So my mom was very, very disappointed. It was not an easy thing. And I think at that time she realized that it's too late now because I'm much older. I'm in my early 20s and I'm living in a different city. There's not much she could do.
Yeah.
It came to a point of giving up for her.
And you write in your outline that within the Mormon church in India, you were celebrated for deceiving and or defying your parents. Is that right?
Yeah. Again, it is, I wouldn't put it again that way, deceiving, but then it is considered like strong faith that you're going against your parents' wishes, you're going against the societal norms, you're going against it. And, that is a great thing. You know?
I don't want people to think I'm making that up. So in your outline says, my story of sacrifice and struggle against parents' opposition was celebrated, giving status in church.
Exactly.
So I just want people to know I'm not making that.
No, you're not. You're not making that up. But what I meant to say at the time is it's not like, oh, she's deceiving her parents, so we should be proud of her. That's what I meant to say. It's not that,
But opposing your parents, you were celebrated.
Yes, absolutely. Because that is shown as, look at her dedication.
Yeah.
She didn't give up. Yeah. Although her parents were against it, she didn't give up. When I moved to the U.S., my story was celebrated. Yeah, I was invited to different chapels. I was invited to speak in different places. You are absolutely right about that.
And one of the 10 Commandments is honor thy father and thy mother. So that celebration of you sort of dishonoring your parents runs in contrast to one of the 10 Commandments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew, at least in Rajahmundry, that how my parents were against it.
Yeah.
Everybody, almost. There were times they know my story. Yeah, they do.
So going back a little bit, I just don't want to miss this part of your outline. You mentioned having feelings for a missionary when you're 15 or 16 and falling in love or dating or something or return missionary. Do you want to tell that story? Go back up and tell that story.
Okay, I will. Sorry, I forgot that part. It's not that I had feelings for them. Again, that missionary is an Indian, and and I had never. I didn't think of initially. It was not any feelings for me at all. It was him approaching me.
Okay.
He was like, he is much older. I don't know exactly his age at that time. And he approached me and he said he was in love and he wanted to marry right after his mission.
Marry you?
Marry me.
Okay.
Right after his mission.
Okay.
I know in India, it's like we don't date much or we just, he proposed me. And then I was like too scared. I was like, what is he talking? I was like probably about 16 at that time. And I think he celebrated his birthday at that time when he was there. I remember it was 26th or something like that. Yeah. Things like that. So I went to the sisters that I'm close to. They're much older than me. And I said, this elder is talking like that. And they were like, really? How lucky you. That guy is such a strong testimony. He's very spiritual. And all these years of sacrifice that you were going through, if you marry him, you can go to church freely. And, they said they were so happy for me. And I was like, okay. Then I started to get feelings, thinking, oh, that's true, I can go, and he's a good person, he's a strong, Mormon priesthood holder, and what else I need? And all these people.
What else do you need?
What else I need? Seriously. I mean, that's a story. Like, seriously, I got married at 29. I was, according to the Mormon thing, I was very late, and everybody said the same thing. Every person comes into my life. It was like, he is a strong priesthood holder. That's all you need. He, as long as he is a strong priesthood holder, he can take you to the temple.
Yeah.
He will take you to the temple. That's what you can.
So you kind of, I'm getting that you have now several experiences of feeling pursued by someone significantly older than you, and having messages that you should feel lucky.
Yeah.
You're chosen.
Yeah.
And that makes you lucky.
For me, it's not that the person is how older than me, 10 or 20, but the fact that I was younger. It bothers me more.
Yes.
It's not that the age gap. People do have 10, 15 years age gap when they're married.
You're a teenager.
But the thing is, I was under 18. I was young.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that is the one that, because I was so immature, and everything and anything these people said, I believed.
This brings up something for me, because I served my mission in Guatemala. I think there was kind of a socioeconomic education differential and a cultural power differential between Americans and Guatemalans. Do you know what Mormon missionaries call teenage girls who were investigating the church? You know what we call them?
Oh, gosh.
They're called snakes.
What?
Yeah. Do you know why they're called snakes?
No.
The perception is that teenage girls in a developing country will pretend interest in joining the church so that then they can marry the American Mormon missionary and have a chance of going and moving to the States. And so the implication, your sort of fear is put into you as a young American Mormon missionary in a foreign country. Be careful for the snakes. They were called culebras, because they are out to sleep with you so that you'll marry them, so that then you'll take them to the States and they can become citizens. So that's kind of a mentality. There's this
goodness.
So on the one hand, they're snakes, be careful. But on the other hand, you want to baptize them because they show a lot of interest.
Yeah.
And, you can use that power or influence to get them interested in the church so that then you can baptize them. So it's a dual situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So were you aware of that?
I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I was 14. I didn't even have, honestly, I was very childish. I know how 14 years old think that these days, boyfriends and dating. For me, that concept didn't even. For us, I come from a very conservative family, where arranged marriages, and all my cousins and stuff. So I knew that wasn't even. Honestly, John, I'm telling you today, I was never even interested in marriage. Growing up, I was not planning on it or anything. The reason being is seeing my own parents.
Yeah.
If that is marriage, and not just my parents, some other people are surrounded me at that time, even in my other extended family, I didn't want be that. So when I planned my future at that time, when I dreamed of my future, I was not dreaming of family, husband, kids. I was dreaming of being a powerful woman, being in a position of power. Like my dad was always telling me walking and men standing up.
That's right.
That was the picture my dad put in my head. And that's what I wanted to do. So for me, when I came here, when in the Mormon culture, and they were like talking about, marriage is so important. If not, you can't even go into the highest degree in the celestial kingdom.
Right.
You would never even make there. And they would say something like, I forget a lot of the terminology now. It's a ministering angels, I think. They're called ministering angels. You will be forever. Doesn't matter how good you are. Doesn't matter everything you do. If you're not married and if you don't have children, you cannot be.
You'll basically be a servant.
A servant,
to
kind of.
Married Mormon couples in heaven for eternity.
Yes, that's exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know how far that is true, but that's exactly what I was told.
No, that's a Mormon doctrine concept.
So that's what I was told, and I was And then the women who were at that time telling me, you're so lucky, this missionary is coming. And at that time, I didn't even know that missionaries had these rules or anything. I was very young, naive. I have no rules about these things. So I didn't know it was what he was doing was actually breaking the mission rules, even in that culture. But
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I'm mentioning that is because I'm reflecting on our missionary practices. And what I'm realizing is it's, number one, it's awful that teenage convert girls are viewed as snakes. But there's an age and a power and a cultural differential that should be noted, that these are 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old girls. They're minors. And there is undue influence when white, tall, wealthy American missionaries come into a developing country and start, showing interest in these teenage girls.
Yeah.
That's a power differential.
Yeah. There is definitely, I agree with that.
Yeah, it can lead to undue influence.
It's not just young teenage girls. It could be on anybody in a culture, in our culture, where most of the population is below average household income, and for them to see this church portrays a picture of wealth, success, something. Oh my goodness, look at those people. Oh my goodness, will I be ever like them? Not just I'm not just spiritual or something, even like in their material stuff. I didn't realize the difference at dollar, or I knew it has more value, but it really wants you they are in a pedestal, you admire them, and you want to do everything they told you to do. You want to be like them.
How many rupees for $1?
Now it is about 85.
85 rupees.
85 rupees, I think now. $1.85, yeah.
So what happened with this missionary that showed interest in you?
And then he would write letters. I remember back in those days, they used to have this flowery letterheads and, all these things, how he'll come marry me and stuff. And the ironic thing is this person, the other person who came to me and he told me that he should marry the angel, that guy. One day he comes to me and he was like, that person he was still on mission, but he's coming to Rajahmundry. He's like, you have to keep your heart very strong. You're going to hear something very bad news. I'm like, what bad news? I just didn't understand what could go wrong. And then that missionary comes to me and he's like, he's breaking up and he can't. And I was like, what? I still don't understand the reason till today, what happened. I don't know how this guy, the angel came and knows before anybody else that he came and told me.
The other guy.
I don't know what happened there till today, but I don't care. But and that actually took me, this I have to tell, into a very deep depression. Because first of all, I was not thinking of him in that way. My goal was very, very different, which doesn't align with church. My goal was to study hard and make myself independent. And there are these women telling, you are so lucky that this guy even said that and said I should pursue and stuff. And now he's saying, I was dreaming of, I'm going to marry in the temple. I'm going to have these kids. I'll go to church and all these things, And then he comes and he breaks it. I was in such a deep depression. Already I have a very rough time in the house. Already I'm seeing hell in the house. It only added on the top of it. And I didn't even have a space to sit and cry. I think I was 17 during this time, I would say. My mom would ask me to go get something from the store or something. There is a little space between houses. I would just go stand there and cry my heart out. It was what he has done was not right. And what these women especially, they were much older than me. They should know better. I trusted them. I trusted all the church members for them to say that you need to go pursue this. It was not right. And it affected me in a negatively in my education, everything. It was really hard.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah, when religion's involved, it raises the stakes and the emotions of everything, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, what leads up to you serving a mission.
Oh, yes. So the next thing. So my mom came to know about my mission, and she kind of...
About your baptism.
About my baptism. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. About my baptism, and she wasn't happy. But then there's not much she can do. I was already in, and she said, but make sure you have good education. And I always promised my mom that, yes, I will not take my focus off of there. It will always be there. I will get my degree. And then I want to go on a mission. So that was another big episode. I didn't tell my mom or parents of anything that I'm submitting for mission or anything. I applied for my mission.
And was that while you were in the middle of school? Were you in college?
I finished my school. I finished my undergrad.
Undergrad. Okay. Okay.
3 years undergrad in India. I have Bachelor of Computer Applications. So I finished my bachelor's in computer applications and applied for my mission. Not right after. There was some space in between, but applied for my mission, and I got my mission call. I just wanted to give as less time between my call and leaving so that there will be
minimal.
I knew, I know I'm going to go anyways, but I just don't know. Anyways, so I got my call and I got my date. I think sometime in September I was to go to MTC in Philippines. So I finally, when I have food, I got all my stuff ready and my clothes, everything. I told you I was working as a translator for the church, and I was able to earn some money from that.
Were they paying you for that?
Yes, yeah, they did pay. And some are volunteers. I work some like temple work and stuff, but some are paid. So I was getting paid.
And what did you translate? Just so
I translate. I don't remember my projects exactly. Young Women Manual, primary manuals, some of the videos. I even did another video. I remember them taking me to Bengaluru to do a video production at the time. So I did a lot over the years because I got called as it's not a calling, it's also talent based. I went through rigorous testing. My bishop, I didn't even know exactly what I was testing for, but I had to take English language test, Telugu translation test. I had to pass all those tests, and then I was called as a translator. And with that money, I did get paid, and I used that money for the church thing. Again, for me, I remember telling my language supervisor when I did my first project, I didn't even know that I was getting paid. I just submitted my project. He's like, where is your invoice? And I'm like, what invoice? He's like, you're getting paid for this. I said, no, I don't want to get paid. It is God's work, and I want to do it for him. I don't want to get paid for this. He said, the church is very strict on this. We just can't give your money. You can take and do whatever you want with it. So I ensure that when I got that money, other people are like using for different things. They would talk about how they bought this and that. For me, I felt this is God's work. I just can't use this money for myself. So I used it again for the church-related stuff and paid extra tithing, paid extra this thing, paid extra that. I did, and then use that money for my mission stuff. Clothes or whatever. So the
church got all that money back.
I would say, a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, they didn't ask for it, but it was my choice. I gave, thinking this is what. The reason I'm telling you these things is I wanted to tell you at the end, what all these people told me once, I started having questions. So about my commitment or my dedication. So
and
that
sacrifice.
Money, that money, I didn't use it for myself.
Yeah.
Right.
I used it back for the church. Anybody needed something. And also at the time, I didn't know the church has $1 billion, all these things, is super rich. I remember
300 billion.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know all those numbers. But at that time, I didn't know. When somebody needs a help, when they come to the bishop would ask so many questions. Sometimes they wouldn't get the help they need. Sometimes they do get help, but sometimes they don't. So what I would do, I would use this money to help them and tell them the church helped them. In my mind, I was thinking that is true because although it is the money I earned through translation, but again, it's the church's money.
Wow.
So I would give that money to them and tell them, hey, this is from the church, like that, and buy the groceries if they need something. I would use it back. I didn't come from super wealthy family or anything. I could have used that money for myself, but I never used it. I only gave to the church.
Yes, that is so significant.
Only gave, never took anything. I can say it 100%. Never took anything. Only gave it.
Religion's a good business, man.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could do that, John. I work so hard for my thing and I hardly, they pay okay, but my job, but man, religion.
It's a great business.
You just have to say a few words and anyways. So.
How did your family react to your mission call?
Mission call, exactly. Oh my goodness, I go everywhere. So I called my mom. I didn't call my mom. I was so scared. I remember the district president at that time. I said, can you call my mom and tell him that tell her that I got my mission call. And at this time, also, I want to tell you, when I newly came to Hyderabad, my dad left us. One day my mom called, she said, your dad is not here. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, he said he was going on a camp, which he does, go for weeks or something. He never came back. And I said, is he okay? And she said, yeah, he's absolutely fine because the government housing, he gets a government vehicle and a driver and stuff. So it was given to somebody else. And they said, you need to vacate this house because we're going. So we were financially, I was not in a good position, honestly, at that time. And I still never took that translation money.
Wow.
My mom was struggling because my dad left us. Anyway, so my dad left. He's completely out of the picture at this time. All these years in Hyderabad.
Okay.
He didn't contact me or anything.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got my mission call and I called and I told my district president, I was in his office and I said, can you please call my mom and tell her? Because I was so scared. And I called my mom and he just casually said, your daughter got mission call and stuff. I don't know how loud she yelled at him. He said, okay, you talk to your mom.
Pass the phone.
He gave pass the phone. My mom said, take a next train, pack everything you have in Hyderabad, just come home right now. And I was like trying to explain to her. She said, I'm not listening anything to you. Pack your bag. I don't want any single thing. You're not going back to Hyderabad. Pack everything, come to Vijayawada. That's it. I'm not going to hear anything. And I was going to Vijayawada. There was a couple missionary at that time. And I was like so scared. I knew something, my mom would not be happy with this. I told that couple of missionaries, my mom called and she said, pack everything, come, I'm just so scared. And I remember she gave me 500 rupees and she said, if it gets really hard, if your mom doesn't let you go on mission, just take this money, buy a train ticket, just come off, we'll take care of you. You are above age now, nobody can tell you what you should or should not do.
I just want to say that there's such a rub because the Mormon Church claims family is the most important thing. But the way that it's treating you relative to your mom is not respecting your family in this context.
Absolutely not.
It's almost like only a faithful Mormon family is important. But if it's a mixed faith family, the non-believers,
they're out of picture
family,
completely. They're out of picture.
Yeah. That's not good.
No.
Because they're driving a wedge between you and your mom. And it sounds like your mom could have used your help at that point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. My mom was needing help, actually, because my dad left us with nothing, not even a warning or anything. He's gone.
Yeah.
And I could. And instead of helping my mom, here I am putting another big thing on her head saying, I'm going off to my mission.
Yeah.
And I remember the couple of missionaries saying she gave me that 500 rupees at the time. And she said, come off, we'll take care of it. So I went to Vijayawada. My mom was furious. Immediately, one of her brother lives in a state called Gujarat. He's an IFS officer there. Very respectable Indian Forest Service. Very respectable position. He has his own bungalow given by the government. His own, he has this guard at his house and stuff. So he's a very respectable guy. And she said, you are going to Gujarat. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, they already booked my train and everything. And she said, you are going, that's it. And I was taken there. And my uncle is like, you are not going on mission or anywhere. Just forget about it. We didn't even know that you were even going to church in Hyderabad. They have no clue. My whole entire family in India, at least in my family, when I said it's not just mom and dad, it's everyone, your aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa, everybody. They all have that say in your life. They all care about you. My uncle said, you're not going on any mission. So you're coming here, you're going to do your MBA in Gujarat. You're not even going to South anymore. So they made me to sit in the MBA entrance test. My uncle has a lot of contacts, so he made sure that my application was sent. He sent me, but he can't write a test for me. I remember sitting there. I remember it's in a place called Ahmedabad, where my uncle's friend's university is there. So, and I didn't even open the question sheet, the answers that you write for the entrance test. And then I told this person, and I said, I don't know why my uncle is making me do this. I am going on my Mormon mission. I already got a call. I already have a date. I'm not doing MBA.
So you intentionally failed the MBA entrance exam.
I didn't even write it. I didn't even write the entrance test.
So you intentionally failed it.
Intentionally, because I want to go on a mission, right?
Yeah.
That's what I already have a call. What's the point in writing this test? I didn't even open the question sheet, and I was just sitting in the hall. I'm like, again, thinking the same story, like, Nephi. The Lord helped Nephi. The Lord helped Nephi. He will help me. That is one thing that is stuck in my head, and it is going to be there. And that person, he is asking, why didn't you even write this? And I feel kind of bad for my family because they were doing it out of love, but I looked at them as enemies. Why are they doing this to me? Why can't they just accept this is the truth and stuff? And the distance was becoming more and more and more. Already, it was a dysfunctional family to start with.
Right.
And everything the church was doing was bringing more and more and more distance.
Right.
This reminds me of Benjamin Halof's story.
It does for me too.
It was bringing more and more distance. I didn't even write that. I didn't even open the question sheet. And when that person asked, I told about my uncle, and he called my uncle and he said, why are you forcing her if she doesn't want to do it, And my uncle didn't understand, but he was like, why is she doing that? So again, I was brought back to my uncle's home, and he's like, you are still not going on mission. Forget about that. And that sister missionaries gave me that 500 rupees, telling I can just run away. I even tried that. I was like one night, but then he has a security guard. He's a guard who, they call it Gurkha, I don't know what it is, but he was there. And I'm like, okay, there is no way this guy is letting me to run away from my uncle's house. It was physically impossible.
So they're basically staging an intervention for you. They're trying to intervene and kind of at this point with the Mormon Church to try and have it be that you actually, there's no way you can go on a mission.
There's no
That's
way
what
I could
see.
go.
It's like this official, without using a lot of control, like trying to force you to do other things, trying to force you back into a life, that they approve of and want for you. But it sounds like also without a lot of emotional connection to you, without actually really talking to you.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah. I wish it was, my family dealt it in a different way, honestly. I wish they, instead of yelling at me, getting mad at me, beating me for going to church and all these things, I wish they sat me down. They talked to me. And they say, hey, we love you more than any of those people. We want this is best for you. Why don't you at least wait some time? At least, this decade of decisions. That's what I am furious about. That people can make their life. I turned it everything. I was going to be a different person. I was going to do something with my career. I was going to be something very different. But church kind of pulled everything, you need to be married, you need to do this, complete the focus was shift. Honestly, I said marriage was not at that time, or ever. I don't think I'm a kind of person who would be, it is an unpopular thing to say this, but I don't really care what people think, but I'm not a kind of person who would sit at home, have a lot of kids, cook, clean. I like to go out. I like to make money. I like to be powerful.
Yeah.
But I have to shift that thing because this is what is right for me. This is what expected of me, and change my brain, change my thinking to match what is being taught instead of me being truly be me.
The self, it's kind of like on a level betraying yourself.
It is betraying myself.
Yeah.
So when my uncle, when I brought and he said, you're not going, and I can't even run away. With a guard, I can't even run away. So what is the thing I could do? I remember Gandhi. Gandhi.
Yeah.
He did a hunger strike, right? He believed in ahimsa. What do you call it in English?
Harm.
No, do no harm. Yeah. Do no harm. And doing with love, doing with things. So instead of running and fighting, I can't fight. I don't know how to. So all I know how to do is to starve myself. That's what I do. No. So I locked myself in a room, didn't come out, didn't speak to anybody, didn't want to eat any food. I don't remember the days, but my mom, recently when I spoke to her about this, she was like, you didn't eat food for 3 days, like it was like you didn't want to talk to anybody. And I was like, I told them I'm not going to do MBA, and they wanted me to get married to somebody, at least marriage or something. Nope, I'm not going to do that. So I have to go on mission. Finally, the day of ultimatum came. My uncle called me and he said, okay, you have 2 choices. One, you love us, you stay with us, forget about missions and all these things. We'll have a good life, we'll take care of you. And especially he was like a father figure to me. He was always like a father figure to me. My dad was never really available, never really was there, but he was my father figure. And the second choice, he said, is go to your mission, but never come back home. We are all dead to you. That is the thing, he said. 2 things. Stay with us, forget about Mormons, or go on your mission, but don't ever come back. We are all gone. I didn't even take a breath. I said, I'm going on mission.
Wow.
I didn't even think twice. Immediately. And he said, all these years of how we took care of you, all these years, like that, you just said you'll go. Okay, I'm booking you tickets. And my uncle booked my train ticket. He still cared about me. He still sent one of his workers to go with me to carry luggage and stuff. He sent me.
And this was because you were starving yourself and willing to die for the church, for the Mormon church.
Yeah, I didn't want to do MBA. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to deal with life. And I honestly thought, if I can go on mission, what is this life for? What is this life for me? Because this church has so much truth. This is the truth. If I can't teach people this thing, what is my life for? I don't care. I would die, then up to you.
I mean, 2 things I just want to note. If we were to swap out the name of the church for any other church, this would sound like a cult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it would be a family feeling like their child was indoctrinated into a cult, and that basically the cult stole their child
completely. Yep.
from their
My
family.
mom literally said that. My mom literally said that. She's like, I cannot believe, the church has taken you away from me this much. I didn't know it was happening. She didn't know. My grandma was so disappointed. And and I gave up. I told, like, in a second when my uncle said, choose, go on mission, I said, I'm going on mission. And he sent me. Breaking all the ties, everything, all the family ties.
And that was the sentiment as well with Ben Halaf's parents as well, saying to him, we've lost, feeling like they'd lost him.
And that's, And that's such a hard thing for a Mormon to wrap their brain around, a believing Mormon, because missionary is one of the best things you can be. And you're preaching the truth in the gospel. So it can't be bad no matter what. It can never be bad.
No, it can never be bad.
To teach the Mormon doctrine to people, even if it, and you could even find a scripture in the New Testament where Jesus said, I've come to separate parent from child. Oh my goodness.
Right? Those, honestly, I forgot a lot of scriptures. I don't read anymore, a lot of things. But then now that, you're mentioning all those things, I think there's something in Doctrine and Covenant, something like that too. Whosoever loses something will be given more, for God's sake. I don't remember. Even for this to prepare, I didn't even really prepare. This is all from my heart, whatever it is. I didn't have to, but at least I should have remembered some of the scriptures because I forgot. But they quoted all those things, and I took those things to my heart.
Because Jesus says something like, I've come to separate brother from sister or mother from child, that sort of rhetoric.
Yeah. And then people take, I don't know what context he said that, or did he even say that?
Yeah, right.
But it was what it is taken. So I broke it, and the family relationships and everything. And my uncle still cared. He just didn't say that. He came to the station. He had one of his people who works for him to go with me to drop me, and I went on my mission.
Oh.
And breaking everything. And I was not like those missionaries that, who was flirting with me and stuff. I gave my everything. I went to Philippines, Manila, MTC. That is the first time I even went to the temple there. I got endowed in Manila temple in the Philippines.
What did you think of the temple?
Honestly, it was not that was expected. Especially the initiatory was kind of a little scary, especially coming from my culture and stuff. It was a little, I was taken aback because I was not prepared. But again, I was blaming myself because, I should have more faith. I should just trust the process, especially when during the time they would give you a cloth. It has opening. You are naked inside completely, and they give you something just to cover and then they touch and they say
touch your body
and stuff, and not someone that is used to me, and again, anything I doubt, I would blame myself, and I need to have more faith. One other important aspect of something I have to tell you, after I got on that train, I was sitting in the train, and I sat there, and suddenly this voice came into my head, almost like as if somebody was talking to me. It's saying, you broke your family relationship, everything for this. What if this is wrong?
Oh.
In the train that day from Gujarat, when I was coming, when my uncle was sending me, I heard it as clearly as if somebody was talking to me. There's nobody that the personally know me there. And it was, what if this is wrong? And then I sat, and I remember how church tells you when you had a doubt, that's a Satan trying to help you. So you take off the equation of thinking or justifying or, an analytical brain at all, right?
Right.
And I remember I used to have a small Walkman, and I had the CDs of church in a tabernacle choir. I put it on, and then I put the full sound of music, and I tried to vanish that feeling away. Instead of sitting and, what if this is wrong?
Yeah.
Instead, this is how Satan does that. Because they have solutions to everything, I would say.
Thought-stopping
strategies for everything. I don't know how that is, but that, I really, I wished I didn't listen to that Walkman on that day. I wish I sat and I really did analyze. I wish I could speak to somebody. I don't know, I would still change my mind just like that. But I didn't even let that thought, entertain that thought of this could be wrong and what would I be doing, leaving all this family.
That's right.
So, I came and I went on my mission.
Yep.
Wow, that's so powerful. I'm so sorry. So how was your mission?
My mission, it was hard, but I enjoyed it because that is what I wanted to do. I did have few experiences on my mission that not really happy things. One of them was how I've been, I don't know what you call it, right word, sexual harassment by another missionary or something. So what happened, we give our phone numbers to everybody, right? We are not allowed to speak in mother tongue. We have to wear skirts and stuff. We give our numbers to everybody, and people call all the time. So this person, I would get calls. I was like senior missionary, I would say senior companion at that time. And then I would answer the phone calls, and this person would call me and say really vulgar things, really, really vulgar things in the phone. And I called my mission president at that time, and I called the assistants, and I let my seniors know, my district leaders or whatever. And they were trying in those days, we didn't have this. This is back in 2003, I guess, 2003, 4, like that. I think 2004. And I told them, I'm getting these calls from this random person, and they're very vulgar. It went on for a few months. And they said, okay, we're going to talk to the thing. They didn't do anything much. I don't know they could do anything at that time. I don't know if they have any resources with the technology at that time. I don't know if it's possible to find it. But we were in a conference, a district conference with all the missionaries. And this elder comes to me. I was just sitting and doing something. He comes to me and says those same words that he said in the phone, right to my face.
Oh, so it identifies, it's an identifier, right?
Yeah.
Because he's repeating it.
And my brain still didn't understand that he was that person. And I was like, how do you know? I was asking him. Although I didn't tell him, he was not the district leader or mission president or assistant. I was like, for me, it's so hard, I don't see red flags or something, I was like, how do you know? And he was like, oh, it was me. And the smile vanished. I was like, what? And because he was so confident, next day was his release. He's finishing his mission and going. I immediately, the assistants, they were all there. And the people, all the leaders of mission. And I went immediately and told them, elder, that the phone calls I've been getting, it is from this elder. And he was like, oh, I remember this missionary that I told him, he said, I wish I didn't have this name tag. I would have gone and punched him on the face. But sister, he's going home tomorrow. There's not much we can do. But, I want you to forgive him like the Lord taught us how to forgive and stuff. So that person was released honorably. And he even said that. Maybe in paper he says released honorably, but I know in my heart that he's not released honorably. That's what I was told. After all that he has done to me, all that stress. I remember I used to call, I used to be very, I'm a lively, joy person. And someone calls, I'll be like, oh, Sister Kolu from, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, how can I help you? I used to always answer the phone calls, and my mission president would call, and he said, it is so joy just to hear your voice like that. And one day he called, and I started taking the phone and doing this, thinking, who is that? Unless I know who that, then I'm going to introduce. Then one day he called, and instead of giving that answer, I just kept the phone like this. And he's like, Sister Kolu, and I was like, yeah. Oh, I thought you would, say that. I was like, and he's like, are you too scared to say that? I said, yeah. I was, I just, so he knows, but nothing has been done about that.
That's right.
So that is one experience. And another one was when I was serving in Chennai, I got a call from my mission president saying my grandma passed away. One person who actually cared about me in this whole world. And, she passed away, and mission president said, if you want to go, we can let you go, just for a visit, to go and see grandma and stuff. And then I remember all these people telling stories about how, again, it's not that they told me not to go, but then the kind of portrayal they give about the sacrifice, oh, this missionary's mom died, but he didn't go because he worked that, all these things. When the Mormon church or mission says, we never told people to say that. We never told people women should not work. We never said that. You never said that out loud. But that's what you basically, make people think that how that is. You give all those examples and all these things. And I didn't go for my grandma's funeral. And my uncle, who actually I broke the thing, broke the relationship, he actually called me. He's a kind of person who he has, a lot of self-respect. He doesn't come down easily. He's like also his position, the power he has. He's not someone who steps down easily. He did. He called me personally, although he said, forget about the family, forget about all these things. He called me and he said, can you please come? And I said, I can't. I'm doing the most important work. I was so sad. I was sobbing. I was depressed. I wouldn't sleep night. And next day, I'll still go and teach.
Wow.
I didn't take one day or anything at all. I would cry when I'm at home or something, but I will go and did everything, went to all my appointments, did everything that I needed to. I didn't go home. So it was, the church was, I don't know how to say it. Is there any word in English language or any language for that matter, how much I trusted it, how much I gave everything, how much I gave everything, sacrificed everything, my family, my career, my ambitions, everything.
And for those who think this might be an exception, I had a grandpa and a grandma die on my mission, and I didn't even ask to go home. Didn't even ask. So I had the same experience. Yeah. Except they didn't raise me.
Exactly.
So, very different.
She was one person. She was different. It's not like some grandma. They were like, she was. Yeah. I actually, honestly, I never called her grandma. Growing up, I thought she was my mom. I used to call her Amma. Amma means mom.
Yeah.
Because that's all I knew her. And I remember once I called my mom auntie. Like in India, you call everybody auntie, even someone random on the street. For me, and my grandma would say, don't call her that. But my grandma was my amma. Yeah. She was my mother. She was not like my grandma.
Yeah. Can we just take just one moment? And do you want to share a memory or two of her? Just in honor of her? How she made you feel, or a certain memory, or do you want to do that?
Oh my, I don't know.
You can even say how you remember her, what you remember about her, if there are particular moments or things that she loved to do that you associate with her.
I mean, she's a very simple woman, She's a teeny little Indian woman in her sari and, always sort of a knot, all the pull hair back and big glasses and taking me everywhere she goes, holding my hand she never let me go. She would let me go, I would run away. I was always, that one of those kids. She would wake up and in India, we have this culture in the schools where the teachers beat kids. Growing up, if you make noise or if you are not studying well or something. So one day in this class, we were all I was in second grade, I think I was in second grade. We were all being rambunctious kids everywhere. The teacher got really mad. She took a scale and started beating everybody up in the school. My grandma happened to walk in at that time to school, saw the teacher even giving that beating to me. Man, she fought with that teacher like crazy. She said, dare you ever raise your hand on my granddaughter?
Yeah.
And she was so protective of me. And she's like, her mom doesn't even live here. If she cries for home, what would I do? And she said to the teacher, you don't ever do that,
Yeah.
And the teacher would beat other kids or something, not me. And she always fed me with her own, because growing up eating food was a big deal. So she would, feed me with her own hands and take me everywhere. She was very, very protective of me. She, Even when I moved to Rajahmundry, she actually came and lived with me because knowing that my both parents are not there. So, but then her health started declining. I remember when I was going on my mission, I actually kind of felt that maybe I will not see her because her health was declining. She wouldn't recognize half of our family members, but my voice, she could hear me and she would recognize me. And my uncle said that, like, she never even treated you like a grandkid. She had 7 kids. I was like the 8th kid.
Yeah. Yep.
She used to tell my uncle, please take care of her. She doesn't have good parents.
Yeah.
I didn't even go for her funeral. She's the most important person in my life. She was. And I thought, okay, I'll go get baptized for her in the temple. That is, she would be happy for me. Not knowing that I couldn't see her for the last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought myself, I'm not going to cry, but I don't know, she was different.
It sounds like it. Yeah. Thank you for sharing a bit about her.
Thank you. Thank you. You mentioned in your outline being flown to Salt Lake City to translate the temple ceremony.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Anything worth?
It
And
was
I don't mean to jump to a new segue.
No, that's fine.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
about
you.
your
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's just, I don't talk about her a lot.
Yeah.
I always think about her too, but not many people know, but she deserves that shout.
She does deserve that.
Yeah. She, when she was baby, when I was a baby, she would carry me. And my uncle said that one she fell and she even broke her arm, but she never stopped carrying me. She was always there for me, worrying about my future. And me joining the church has really stressed her out. She was really started to worry. Anyways, so when I was serving in, I think, Chennai, I got called from my supervisor at the time he was not, we used to have a language supervisor, and he said, you have an interview to come and meet somebody in the church or something. And they called a couple of people, and then I went for the interview. I didn't know what it was. They didn't tell me anything about it. They were just talking to me, and I didn't understand what they were saying. And one day I get a call. They said, you are called to translate the temple ceremony into Telugu. And I was so, I thought, this is it. This is what I was born for. All these things are leading up to this, my mission. And I thought, even if I die after this, I have no regrets or anything. I have achieved everything that I could. And I came to Salt Lake City. During my mission, I still had to, they had to take some special permission because they don't fly missionaries come out of their mission and do those things. There were 3 people. The other 2 were not missionaries. And I was there. I was the main translator for all the things. And I translated the whole Telugu ceremony into Telugu. And they even called me. It was multiple trips. I came back. And then I even gave my voice for Eve.
You were the voice of Eve in the Telugu Mormon temple ceremony.
Yeah. I don't know if now they
might still be. You might still be.
I don't think so. I think the ceremony I think they changed it. The whole thing has changed.
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
But it was before. When the first Telugu ceremony came, I was Eve.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you doing that work for the church?
It was, as I said, being given the conditions at that time, I thought that is it. That is my life thing. And it was hard as well because that is not something I have done anything like that before. But I really considered that is something, not everybody gets that. And honestly, there's so many people in Telugu-speaking members who are really good at it, who are really much more experienced than me. I thought they were great, but I was honestly surprised and shocked and pleasantly that it was me. and I have given everything I have done to the church. I have given wholeheartedly, either a calling or a translation. Again, as I said, it was never for money. It was always, I even did general conference after I came back to the States and stuff. But during my mission, I was called for the temple thing, and I was Eve's voice.
You mentioned on your mission being forbidden from teaching in your native language, being forbidden from wearing Indian-style clothes on your mission, and being taught that American culture is superior to your cultural heritage. Do you want to talk about that?
It is kind of, yes. We were not allowed to speak in any of our mother tongue. We have so many languages, and every state have their own language. Mine is Telugu. A lot of people speak Hindi, Tamil. But English is the only language that we are allowed to speak. I don't know, the rules must have changed. It's been a while, but I don't know at that time. And we had to wear this American-style clothing.
So dresses for women, just like American-style dresses, not Indian-style dresses.
No, not Indian-style dresses at all. Indian-style dresses, like what I'm wearing now, churidar, it's actually very comfortable. It's actually conducive, very good for our culture, because getting on buses and sitting on the floors, a lot of times we sit on the floors, but we have to wear skirts and tops, sitting on the floor with a skirt and getting on these buses which has a tall steps. It would be, very, uncomfortable, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know why do they have those rules at that time.
Interesting.
Not being able to do, but we are never to question, right? We are not supposed to. But honestly, that was not something any of us, some people like that because it also gives like attention, because not everybody, two girls wearing skirts and, tags and going around, at least at that time, this is about 2003, 2004 I'm talking about. So it gives a kind of attention. I don't know if it's good but sometimes it didn't give a good thing. We had some guys making comments that are not so, nice, or trying to touch us or something. It happened to me personally a couple of times. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was a thing of the mission to wear.
And if you had to summarize your overall mission experience, how was it?
My overall, I would say, it was very challenging. It was not easy, given the conditions and stuff.
Did you see a lot of baptisms?
We did. We baptized, not every week, but we did have a lot of baptisms, and I don't remember how many people exactly, but I had some. At least we had baptisms once a month or something like that. We did have, and
so at least 10 or 20 people.
Oh, more than that, more than 20 people for sure. I used to have all their list of names. I just lost it. And one of the things that the church tells people, like, when you go to some of these people who are struggling already financially. Again, I said a lot of Indian population is, struggling and making makes. Yeah. And then they tell us to ask them to pay tithing. And then in the zone conferences, in the missionary training, they said, tell them you do this and promise, God will bless you and all these things. And I would do that. I would go to these families and tell them, a single mom who has kids, who is already struggling. Right. She's working as a house help in a couple of houses to take care of her kids. And I tell her, give 10% of your thing to the church, and the God will promise you. Honestly, I'm embarrassed of some of those things I said at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I shouldn't, like I was so blind faith. I hope the missionaries or whatever the young people they're doing these days, I hope they think twice before make that kind of things.
Yeah.
Because it's not like your American culture, like if you're sick, you go to the hospital and you will get health care no matter what. It's not like that in India. You pay money, you get health care. It's very rare in government hospitals, sometimes you get. And for you to promise this kind of things to them, right. I don't know. It's not right.
That's right. It's kind of, not being aware truly
Yeah.
of what they're asking
No.
of people. Yeah.
Okay. But if I were to have asked you at the end of your mission whether it was a good experience for you, what would you have said?
I would say it was a good experience. I would. At the time I would. But now that I'm thinking, about the people, of how I brought them and how their lives and how I could have used that time to do my own thing, my own studying, preparing my own life, especially my dad left us and we didn't have financial sources or something, how I could have used that. I can't believe what my mom would have gone through at that time. Now that I'm thinking as a mother, I can't believe, but it was not something.
Yeah, you were her only child.
I was her only child.
And she had no husband.
No other kid.
Was it her mom who died, your grandma?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So her mom died, her husband left her, and then her only child was, from her view, taken by a cult.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you regret that you weren't there for your family?
Absolutely. I regret all of this. There's not, sometimes I think that, to make myself happy, has to be some good. There has to be. There is. I did get a community, but I could have got that somewhere else. I could have gone to college and have a community there. Mormonism didn't offer me anything that outside things could offer me.
Right.
It didn't.
Yeah.
I did get some love, but it's not that, it's not like I couldn't get it anywhere else. Maybe I could have joined other, I don't know. We didn't have a lot of, like these days, there are a lot of, societies, a lot of agencies and all these things. But back in the day, we didn't have. But honestly, I wouldn't do any of this. I seriously regret every single thing. And I grieve losing me.
Right.
Losing me, becoming what they want me to be, what they want me to think, what they want me to wear, everything. I grieve the lost me.
Yeah, that's right. That makes all the sense in the world. Mm-hmm.
I can tell you're feeling those emotions again.
I mean, no one should go through this. No one. There's one thing, the pursuit of happiness, they say. Everybody, no matter what it is, they should be able to pursue it. If some Mormons, it is working for them, that, they wanted to, go do it for you. But why do you have to rub all your things on others? You go to a foreign country, talk to a 14-year-old. It is working for you, yeah, by all means, but you can't do that to others, especially when you're hiding so many things, especially when you're doing those things.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Yeah.
So if it's okay, let's transition now, because I'm really curious. It sounds like you end up learning that the Mormon church wasn't what you thought when you were baptized, right? When you were converted to the church in India. So maybe let's talk about how you ended up. Oh, I was going to say, and it sounds like it took you coming to the United States to learn that the church wasn't what you thought.
I mean, I learned that after marrying my husband back in 2000. I married him in 2011.
Well, let's get there. So how do you go from being a missionary in India to coming to the United States? Let's talk about that.
Okay.
And
After
anything else that's important in your story,
Okay. So after I came back from my mission, I found a job in Hyderabad, and I was working for a call center in India for a multinational company. And then I was also, for my mom, doing an MBA is very important for her. That is one thing I promised her before I went on my mission, that I'm coming back and I'm going to finish that. And I did. I did my MBA.
Did she forgive you for going on a mission, or?
No. That is not something, any of these things I could forgive, but she could forgive me. And then I actually started trying really hard to get her baptized.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I mean, she was in a honestly, she was in a very difficult situation. I mean, as you mentioned, she didn't have a husband. Her mother is gone, now her daughter. So I found a job in Hyderabad. I took a small, teeny little room for rent with my salary that I get. And I asked my mom, to come live with me because she's been living with her brothers and stuff like that because she didn't have a place of her own. And she was living, and she would go to church with me. But every time I tell her about baptism, she's like, at that point of time, it's too late. I'm in my mid-20s and served my mission. She knows the church is part of my life. She started to accept it, even if she likes it or not. So, and she, I was asking her to baptize many times. She didn't. I came to the U.S. in 2009, December, to do my master's in information systems.
Was that hard to get accepted or easy to get accepted?
It is hard to come to the U.S. Let's say that, not just to get accepted, but even to get a visa, you have to show a lot of money because they don't want you to stuck here or something like that. So I have to show the family. We used to have a land in India. My mother, when she was working, all the money she has saved. So my mom has been, although she struggled a lot, but she ensured that I always got the best education. And when I told her that I want to come to the States, she has made sacrifices and everything. And the money she was saving for my wedding, in India, I have to give dowry, although it is not a thing that everybody, that government opposes, but people still do it. And I told her instead of that, I asked her to give some of that money for my education. And I came to the U.S. in 2009, December, to Utah State University.
And why not BYU? Why Utah State? Go Aggies.
It's
like
not,
thumbs up.
Yeah. It's like more like I have friends in, my mom is very protective of me, like how, and especially going to different countries. So I have very good friend in Logan,
okay,
who my mom really trusts and knows, a church member he is, and I consider him my own brother again. So he was there. So it was, for me, it's like a kind of safety kind of thing, In my family, I think, they were very protected. They didn't want to send the kids too far unless you are married someone and then go with a husband, but alone. So for me, that was a thing. So I came to Utah State and loved it there.
So you moved to Logan in 2009?
Yeah.
To get a master's in
information systems. I already have an MBA from India.
Okay.
And I wanted to, honestly, it was like for me trying to escape something because even in the church, it was getting difficult. As soon as I came back from my mission, the pressure to get married was intense from the members.
Yeah.
It was like they're not just encouraging you to get married. They're not even doing that. They're insulting you, putting you down, saying stuff like, in this, I don't know where this quote came in the world out of it. They were like, if you are not married within 6 months of your mission, you are a nuisance to the society.
Yeah.
I was told that to my face almost on every Sunday basis.
Oh my goodness.
It was.
In India?
In India. In India,
yeah.
the obsession over certain people in the church I went through. It's like you can achieve anything. You can be the president of the United States or anything. If you're not married, you have no value kind of thing. And how that pressure and they were bringing some of the guys that by then I already have my master's in business administration. And they were getting guys who, I'm not like someone, but in my side of the family, my cousins, they were highly educated, they were engineers and they were married to other engineers, or doctor, married another doctor. And, I was expecting someone, reasonably, they don't have to be super, but it was really hard. And I just didn't, and my mom wanted me to marry somebody highly educated with her obsession with education. And she has sacrificed a lot for her family too. To get her brothers. My mom is 85 now. She got married very late because when her father died, she took all the family responsibility, ensured her brothers, sisters, they all get good education and stuff. So she has always been there, And she herself wanted to become a doctor, but the circumstances and the poverty at that time, it didn't let her. So she wanted me to get, education. She wanted my husband to have that kind of thing. Anyway, so I ended up marrying a doctor. I mean, he wasn't a doctor at that time, but anyway. So 2009, I came to Logan, and again, this thing about church and all end up and
and you were escaping the pressure to
that's
get
what I was
married
talking
in
about.
India,
My goodness,
right?
yeah.
Well, come to Utah to escape the pressure to get married.
Can you believe that? Can you believe what was I thinking? I was like, I will be near the temple. I will just I will get my master's. I just need a break from all these people.
All this pressure to get married.
The pressure to get married. And here the bishops, their life goal is to see you get married. That's what they were doing. I'm like, what did I fall into? So I honestly had really a good time. Like I was doing volunteering at the temple on a weekly basis, attending temple like crazy. I'm always there. They would have to, sister, can you please go? We are closing the temple. Please come back tomorrow. They've been very nice. I was like, enjoying my time with school. And I was also doing general conference after I came here. General conference at that time when I was doing was voluntary work. So I was translating the conference talks, and I would do voiceover, and it was like Mormon haven. Living in Logan, Utah, doing all the callings among all the members. People would invite me to speak in the different, when people heard about me. I spoke there is this meeting called Religion in Life. They have at the institute in Logan where a lot of members would come and they invite guests, and I was speaking there. And I spoke about my experiences at that time, and they would invite me. I even went to Idaho, some of these places to speak at that time, They would call all these young men, look at her, all these things. And I felt so special, so valued, and I was having really good time. And then...
Wait, and I just have to note, just 10 minutes ago, you talked about how you regretted all of it.
Yeah.
And I just want to note the paradox of, on the one hand, you regret all of it, and I believe you. On the other hand, isn't it almost every Indian young man or young girl's dreams to end up in graduate school at a U.S. university?
Yeah.
So you're living a dream because of your relationship to the church, one would argue, or one would.
Okay, I would differ. The reason I would say that because I didn't come to the church. I didn't go to the Utah State University because of church or anything. I was escaping or something. But had I stayed back without the church in India, instead of coming in 2009, I would have come right after my undergrad degree. I would have saved all these years. I would have still come if I wanted to,
That's right.
Because the church, none of the church members had helped me anyway, financially or anything at all.
Yeah.
It was all my mom and my hard work coming here. So I would have come if I wanted to, even without that.
Yes.
In fact, I got a marriage proposal right when I was doing my undergrad. I don't remember if I finished it yet. At that time, I don't remember. But this person who went to IIT is Indian Institute of Technology. It's like MIT of US for technology. One of the family members, if you know, he was a graduate from there. And I got a marriage proposal from as I said, my family does arranged marriages. They do that. So they arranged the marriage with this person. And I just couldn't because I want to marry a member. So if take this equation out, I would have achieved these goals in a much higher level, much earlier.
Oh,
that's right. I love that so much because I think there's this tendency, and part of this is the conditioning of the church too, is like the church saying, we're what make you special.
Yeah.
We're what. And so I love your pushback in saying I had the will. I was the one who was committed to and I would have had that regardless.
Yeah.
What I had instead was this whole era of like kind of erasing myself and giving all my resources, all my time, all my energy to the church and kind of having it take away from. Yeah. And that's just that's an important part, I think, of deconstruction is being able to actually see the parts of us that were always us, but that the church kind of took credit for or said they gave it to us or they're the ones that made that thing. And in fact, it was you all along.
I have people tell me, I'm glad you asked that question because there were a lot of Mormons. Somehow they think that, I had some kind of help from members or now that you came to because of the church you got out. I want to tell one thing looking right into their face. Your church has only taken things from me.
Yeah.
Taken, taken.
Yes.
I have only given, given. I don't know how else I could make. Financially, everywhere I gave. You guys owe me a lot.
Yes.
Just more than money. People say that about me, and some people try to start rumors. When you start question, they don't like it, so they have to character assassinate you, right? So they say stuff like, "Oh, maybe that president helped her go." People turn to my face. I was like, "Which president? Can you ask them who came?" It was all my mom. After all the things I have done, my mom has sent me here with her hard work. Being a single mom,
right?
She has done that for me.
Right.
Anything I owe my education, my mom.
That's right. And the sacrifice to her was that, she might have been a doctor. She might have chosen to do things in her life, but ended up,
Not even my dad, my mom, 100%.
Wow. Yep.
I just want to clear this very clean. And, I would have achieved way better in life. I would have had more money at that time because I could have focused on my education. I would have become a doctor. My uncle wanted me to, they put it in that path. I would have had a successful career, way more financially independent. I lost way too much because of this.
We hear that.
So you feel like the church exploited you?
Absolutely.
To its own benefit?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I hear that all the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
No doubt about it. I mean, I think they also know, but then they give a different word to it. But you're right.
Okay, so you're here in Logan believing that you're living the dream. That's the weird thing. You're telling us on the one hand, the church 100% exploited you. On the other hand, by 2009, 2010, you feel like you've reached the highest state you could ever live in your life, working for the church in Utah, right?
I'm not working for the church in Utah. I was going to school in Utah State University.
I guess
volunteering
the translating and that kind of thing.
I stopped translating at that time. I stopped doing, I was volunteering. So all my translation work was volunteer because General Conference at that time was all volunteer.
Okay, I just mean working with the church.
With the church.
It felt
because
sacred,
I didn't
right?
want the people to think, oh, she's still getting money. Because, I know how they try to piece everything apart and stuff, but it is all mine. Going to school, I was working as a graduate assistant in the university to help pay for my college and working for my professors and stuff. Utah State University took good care of me, gave me jobs on campus. I was able to, they were very, very good. I had a good education and good experiences and exposure there.
It's good to know.
Okay, so how did you end up getting married, or what came next?
I mean, the thing is, the pressure to get married is really high because I was going to be close to my 30s. I was 29. And I met a mutual friend of mine has introduced me to my now husband, Brandon. At the time, he was Spanish. He was doing undergrad in Spanish, and he's about 7 years younger than me. And it was like just a date. And I used to be so scared of dates and stuff. I didn't want to go. But she was like, you're not going to marry him just one date in the evening, because it's a church activity again. It's in the church. So we all went to church, and I met him, and he was a 7th generation Mormon. I was so fascinated. I was like, oh my goodness, Shumway family, their starts at the Joseph Smith time, their connection with the church and stuff. And we fell in love real quick. And, he came up from his mission and stuff. Finished in Nebraska. A lot of people think that, again, he served his mission in India. That's how married. They tried to do all those things. He didn't serve his mission in India. He didn't come. He went to Nebraska mission. He's Spanish speaking. So, it was, he was a worthy priesthood holder, and, we fell in love quickly. He came to India to do some of the service projects for the people in the slums and stuff. He was there building the toilets and stuff, bore wells and stuff.
Before he met you?
Not before,
Okay.
after I met.
Okay.
We went together with him.
Oh, okay.
We went together with an organization that does all these things with a group of people.
Yep.
So really quickly, here India is known for arranged marriages. And so I'm trying to understand, we've already talked about the trauma your family went through in India with you baptizing into the Mormon church and then serving a mission in the Mormon church. What was it like for your family, number one, to not have you enter into an arranged marriage, and then to add possibly insult to injury, to have you marrying a white Mormon American, in another country, basically?
Honestly, my family relationship has broken with my mission itself.
Okay.
They didn't really care after that about me much.
Wow.
We didn't have that break was really hard. And to top that, I didn't even go home for my grandma's funeral when my uncle himself called me.
So that really just destroyed your family relationship.
Absolutely.
It destroyed your family,
He was not joking when he said that.
Oh.
It was not like trying to, it's not. He meant it.
Oh, wow.
And I meant it.
That's right. And even I noticed when you were talking about your mom, when you got back from your mission and you went and got the MBA, that you said something to the effect of like, oh no, my mom would not forgive me.
Yeah, no.
Inferring that decision, it permanently changed kind of your family dynamic.
It absolutely, because here you are, your parents are against it, and you still did it. And I told my uncle to his face that this is more important to me than you.
Yeah.
And I was ready to break it up. He said, like, we are dead to you if you go. And I said, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And I looked at it as, God providing way to Nephi. I looked at it that way. Yeah. I didn't look what I was doing. Looking back at it, I'm not proud of, at that time I didn't know anything better, but I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have broken my family's trust or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Doing wrong things for right reason was Nephi killing Laban for plates. Yeah, killing was bad, but getting plates, what wouldn't have done, like that. So for me, I justified some of these things, getting signature from my dad or not telling my mom until the last minute and then going off on my mission.
Yeah. What do you feel?
I don't know how they manipulate those things to your thing that you're thinking that doing these things is right. I should have been there for my mom right after my undergrad. I should have gone for grad school, got a job, supported her, but instead mission and, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I met my husband, and we got married in Logan Temple, August of 2011.
Were you excited about that?
Honestly, I was excited because that is what I'm supposed to do.
Based on the church.
Based on everything I did, like going on mission. These are not things I would do, like, not having a career, not having an like a high,
Position?
position or something. This is not, but I did it just because to fit in that. Honestly,
Right.
marriage was something, it was not because of my parents or what I have gone through, but for me, I love my husband. He's a great man. I'm not denying that. But marriage, the dynamics, it doesn't sit well. But then I don't want to be servant to the people who are married, right?
In the heavens, which
In
is
heaven
Mormon
forever.
doctrine. Yeah.
Being a servant, that's what I was told,
Yeah.
that I will be literally a servant to the people, ministering angel.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
basically a servant.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, no, I'm not going to be a servant. Nope.
So that doctrine, that Mormon theology,
Yeah.
may cause you to make a very dramatic
Yeah.
decision that you might otherwise not have made.
Yeah. My permission. My husband gave me permission to talk about, but I really don't think it's my place to. But honestly, he was also in a position, he would have made a different choice if he was not a Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
He would have totally made a different choice.
He might not have gotten married as early either, or at all.
Not just if marrying early or something, but I don't, I mean, he said I can talk, but I don't know if I should, but he wouldn't be marrying me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this comes up quite a bit as we do this work with Mormon Stories, is this idea of one way to say it is a cult personality. If you're uncomfortable with that term, we could say a conditioned personality. Yeah. Stephen Hassan is the one who has done a lot of work on high demand religions. Mm-hmm. And this idea of actually a separate self is created within high demand religions.
Yeah.
Right? In these conditioned places where your desires are no longer your own, your personality is no longer your own. It is literally like it creates you in the way that best serves it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I hear kind of you saying at this point is like, right? That you can recognize it looking back, but what really happened is you had a separate self emerge that acted in this way. And I think it's a really tough, this is the rub in people's stories, is when they come out of it, but then they're living the decisions that they made while in it, right? Yeah. Where they kind of feel like, but I wasn't myself. Yeah. I wasn't actually. Does that make sense? Does that feel right to you?
Yeah.
Does that feel?
And he didn't have an opportunity to explore his own thing. He couldn't be out and accept his true identity. He has to fit in that norm. Coming from a very strong Mormon family,
right.
He is expected to do certain things. He did those things, although some of them he didn't agree to or something. And we both, put in this place.
Got it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to go back to this, but I had it to ask you, did any of your family attend your wedding?
My wedding was in Utah, my engagement was in India. There's a couple of family members that came. None of my uncles and none of the people that truly mattered to me didn't come. Some
Not your mom.
distant. My mom was there. My mom, she was there. She was living with me.
Okay.
Because
here.
Not in U.S. At that time, she was living in Hyderabad alone. When I came to U.S., she was living alone in Hyderabad. She has some family things going on, so she didn't want to go back. So she was living alone, all by herself. So my mom was there, and a few family members, like distant cousins. And
you were married in India.
I had engagement. We have in India, we have this pre-wedding engagement.
Got it.
I don't think U.S. and you have it. It's like a big party. Everybody will be there, all the family. India marriage is a big deal in India. It's a topic of another thing, but it's a big deal. So few like my distant cousins were there, but none of the people who really were close from the family, none of them were there.
Okay. So,
and I got married in Utah, so my mom wasn't even there.
So you probably didn't really have any one here when you got married?
No, nobody was there. Not even my mom, nobody. I mean, what's the point? Because they can't come into the temple anyways, or, they they can't.
Because the Mormon church excludes non-members from the wedding if it's a temple wedding.
Yeah. You can't go, right?
Yeah. Wow.
My mom was member at the time, but she didn't have temple recommend. She got baptized in 2010.
Whoa, your mom got baptized.
Yeah, she had. Okay, I'm going everywhere. Yeah. Again, it was in a vulnerable state. I got a call. I was in Utah State. I got a call saying she had to have a heart surgery. She's going through that, and somehow, like, this thing came into her mind. If she gets baptized, the surgery will be success, something like that. She hardly knows anything about the church doctrine or anything. She didn't even understand Book of Mormon. She didn't even read it. She likes Bible. But for me, I was like, it doesn't matter as long as she's baptized for me. I thought, once she, gets, she didn't even get through some of her interviews because they were like, she didn't understand all those things, but they got approved and approved her to be baptized. So she got baptized. I think she started, I don't know if belief really started with her, but she started going to church, and now she goes every Sunday. She is,
wow,
very
that's such
devoted.
a turn.
She pays her tithing. She's like, now she's like, it's so funny. The plates have switched now.
That's so true. Like, what a curveball.
It's switched now. Now I don't go, but my mom,
My mind
she
is
goes.
blown.
Yeah, she goes now. I think, honestly, I think for her, I asked her, like, when I left the church, I just want to let you know that this is what it is. I know I have pursued you for years and then you got baptized, but I told her, she's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I have good friends there.
A little selective memory going on.
She was like, she has no clue of what's going on. And she knows some stuff. She knows about some stories, but she has no clue about those things. She has a very good friends, very good community. And she's lonely. My mom, she likes to be around with people, especially being away from her family and stuff was hard. So for her, again, it's the same thing story repeated with me. She got a community.
Right. And I think in this case, time of life, where she is in her life may, matter a little bit. And what I hear from you kind of in your story is kind of this idea of what it cost you. And it is possible that it can cost her less.
It definitely,
or what is being asked of her to have community or to have these maybe much less than what was. And I think that's a really important question to ask. If we're going to talk about what it gives you, it's what it also costs you to get those things, right?
Yeah.
So
my mom, she didn't lose much at all. Nothing. She hasn't. For her, she joined back when she's like, I think 70s age. For her, it's more like a community.
Yeah,
the
so very
social
different.
aspect. She loves to talk. So they gave her opportunity to talk in the church. She says, they give me slip saying time is over. I just ignore and keep talking, So she gets that platform to talk. So she's there, you know.
So I have to ask, are you glad she has the church?
The thing is, you know what? If it is working for her. Again, I'm saying I'm not saying Mormonism is bad for everybody. Some people, it works for them. Maybe they need it. That thing. They don't probably some of the things that concern me that made me out. For them, when I talk, that's a big deal. For my mom, it's just a community.
Right.
It could be anything.
Got it.
She's not going for teaching. She doesn't have a burning testimony of Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
None of those. She doesn't read even Book of Mormon. But for her, it's the
social support.
Mm-hmm. And they are good to my mom. I have to agree to that. They have some members, a couple of members who are very close to me even now. They take good care of my mom, So she's alone and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, what a curveball.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's lovely that it's working for her. It's lovely that, as opposed to it being sort of again, one of those high cost scenarios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it is not costing her at all
Yeah,
her
that's
life or
great.
something. For her, it's just she goes if she wants to.
Yeah.
She also goes to other churches. She's just not Mormon. Like, when I go to Hyderabad, she gets calls from Jesus Calls Church. She gets from St. John's Church. She goes to all of them. For her, at this age, she just need a community. She just want to sit and listen to someone speak. And she goes. She's not just not like Mormon church. All the churches in that neighborhood, she covers all of them.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so I'm dying to know what in your story leads you to start questioning the church.
Okay, so we were happily married in the temple, and we had a kid right after that. Our first child was born in Logan, Utah, 2012, and my husband started going to med school in 2013 back in Washington, D.C., in a military medical school. And all these years, very devout Mormons, did everything as a family, had a planned life together, finish his medical thing, everything, and then go on missions, everything, And then we moved to, my husband, we moved to Loma Linda, California to do his residency in the Adventist hospital. I don't know what really started his journey exactly. He was the first person to actually question these things. Mm-hmm. He was the one who was reading like crazy. He was getting obsessed over church history. He's first of all bookworm. He loves to read. On the top of it, he's just started to going and digging all these things and telling me, do you know, this didn't happen? And he started me telling stuff. And I'm like, you know what? And at the end, I have only one thing to say. Whatever it is, I know the church is true. I know you have been doing these things, but I hope you can come back. You can do all those things you want. I'm not going to stop you because I know this is true and truth will always, I would say things like that. And he would, and one day finally he said.
Do you remember any of the things he would bring to you, questions?
Oh my goodness, everything.
List the 3 to 5 just so people have a sense.
Oh, he would say stuff like, do you know, alcohol thing, that's a big deal for me, right?
Yeah.
That was a big deal for me that he didn't.
Joseph was courageous and didn't drink alcohol.
Would go through a thing. And he said, do you know there was a bar in his Nauvoo mansion? He was drinking alcohol. I'm like, oh, is that what the anti-Mormon literature told you? Because that's what they tell you, right? Anything that's anti-Mormon literature, right? He said, no. And my husband, he's very he has very he just doesn't believe anything just because someone said. He does his own research. You talk about medicine or anything, he goes for factual. It's very detailed. So someone like them, for him to say that, I was like, nah, he's just I don't know what he's talking to, something. So one of the biggest thing was that for me about alcohol, I'm like, I didn't believe it for a long time. And he said he was drinking alcohol even through his adult life. I was like, no way he's drinking alcohol.
Oh, the night before he was killed, he drank
even
wine.
Then, yeah. He said that. Do you know the night before he was killed, he was doing that? I was like, no, he did it. And also, I was like, how the church portrays that he was there and the mob came and shot him. But in fact, he actually had someone to come rescue him. And when the jailer was telling the mob is coming, Joseph Smith was actually telling, they're coming to rescue me, thinking they're the people that he, arranged, but ended up different. That was all for me, even that, if he could deny it and he could escape all these things, that's what members told me, right? But he didn't deny, he was true to his religion. But for me, he was trying to make his own escape.
He had a gun, right? And he fired it into the crowd. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Growing up, that was not what the church showed you any of the movies.
Yeah.
They even showed him, I'm going as a lamb to the slaughter, knowing that I will be killed. Mm-hmm. He was going on the horse, looking at people, and I'm like sobbing over here. Oh my God, I can't anymore. And then my husband coming and telling me, that's all. I was like, he has a gun. I'm like, no, he didn't. So he was in a roller coaster. I was in a roller coaster. He was 7th generation Mormon. I was like stronger than all his generations put together.
I mean, this part of the interview is really important because it touches on what information you weren't told or what untrue things you were told that maybe if you had been told, you would not have joined. So are there any other really big things that you were not told or wish you had been told?
One thing, one story. I mean, there are so many, and people can read that internet. I don't have to put time to read that. One story about Lucy Walker.
Okay.
That story.
Who's that?
Lucy Walker is a girl, her father, they come from England, and her mom dies of typhoid or some disease. And then Joseph Smith calls her father and says, go on mission. And he's like, I have a young daughter. How can I do that? He's like, I will take care of her like as my own daughter. Go on mission. And as soon as the father leaves and he's telling her, you need to marry me, he gives her pressure timeline, and he tells her the windows of heaven will be closed, if you don't, like all this. And then she finally tells, she says in her own journal, I'm putting my happiness on the altar. Mm-hmm. Like, my mind.
As like a teenage girl with Joseph the prophet pressuring her to marry him.
Yeah.
That feels what? What's wrong with that?
I don't know English enough well. It's not just wrong. I don't know what to say it.
Abusive?
It is,
predatory,
it is
manipulative.
Evil. It is evil. Mm-hmm. How can you say to a father, I'll take care of your daughter, and then you go and force this? Like, what are you? Mm. Forget about everything else. That itself, I would never.
Have baptized.
As a woman, when I was, these are the things when my husband told me, I had really hard time. I was thinking somebody made up these stories. There is no way these are true. Mm-hmm. When my husband was he's just telling all these kinds of stories, like how, the discrepancy between this thing, how Book of Mormon, the most correct book on this earth has so many revisions, so many, not just grammatical, even everything else. And I was like, it was so much for him. It was so much for me. Finally, one day, my husband comes and says, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going. And I was like, I was almost kind of forcing him to come back. And I was like, why can't you come this Sunday, bear your testimony, and then you decide, what do you think? I made him, I remember we were in Redlands. I remember him. I asked, just go. I pushed, and I thought he will say the church is true, the traditional testimony. No, he was talking about how he's having questions about these things, and he was all these things. And I was kind of embarrassed. I'm like, what? Because they say when you bear testimony, your testimony will be strengthened. That's what I was thinking. But he didn't even do that. And he came, and I was trying to make this work. I just can't lose him to the, whatever. So
you had sacrificed literally everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
How can this could be this wrong, So I wasn't. So what I started doing,
Plus, you got your worthy priesthood holder.
My worthy priesthood holder, there is no way. He's the one who's going to know my name, knock the temple, bring me into the heaven. What if this guy is gone? Who is going to? There is another really crazy thing to really think about, that you have to have a husband to go to the heaven, and he's going to open the door. He's going to let you in. I was like, oh my goodness, I just can't. So
he was your ticket to not being a ministering angel. And then by falling away, even marrying a righteous Mormon priesthood holder, you weren't saved from your fate of being an eternal foot servant. Right?
Yeah.
You could be knocking with no one answering.
Nobody
Who's letting me in?
Nobody, right? So
because a woman without a man in heaven, in Mormon heaven,
it doesn't. No.
The door does not open.
The door does not open.
Yeah.
So there he is going off. So up until then, I was a little relaxed, thinking this is so true. There is no way he could leave. He has such a strong testimony, his family and everything. All this it can. But then I really started to get fear when he started to get serious and saying, I'm not doing this anymore. Then I jumped into the picture. Then I started doing research and trying to prove everything he's saying is wrong. My thing is that. And I really don't want to go to that thing, but every time when I'm trying to he's wrong about this, I need to show him this is it. And when I find out he's not wrong, it killed a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It killed a part of me. Like, I'm here to talk about my own thing, and here I am, 25 years later. Every time I learn this thing, it just killed part of me. And I'm trying to make sense out of it. I'm trying to talk to people. And when the church says people fall when they don't read the scriptures, they don't go to go to the temple, they don't go to the church. I was going all this time to the temple regularly, to the church regularly, reading my scriptures regularly, doing my prayers regularly. All the things I was doing, any Mormon would be doing while going this thing. And every time I'm finding, it just killed part of me, just killed trying to make sense of it, trying to do mental gymnastics, right? You want to do that. You are so sure about certain things, the church, oh, this is the only truth. There's nothing can be more true than this. And then when it comes to things like that, the answer is God works in mysterious ways. You just have to have faith. Right. For some reason, when it comes to that, then,
right,
all these things would come. I was talking to people. People say that, oh, she must be talking to ex-Mormons. No, I didn't. I didn't meet any of the ex-Mormons. I was talking to church members. I was talking to the temple president. The temple president was coming to my house almost on a weekly basis, him and his wife, to talk to us about these things. And I would talk to members, but Lucy Walker or other women. And the women would say, well, at least it is not me. And I'm like, so it was okay to happening to women in 1800? They were like, oh, God didn't ask me to do it. I'm fine with it. For me, it was not. Mm-hmm. For me, it's not which generation, which culture she is from, what color skin she has. It's a woman. Mm-hmm. Lucy, she left her family to come with you. Mm-hmm. And what you do to her, what the heartbreak she has gone through, among all the miscarriages she has. I used to have little doubt about Lucy Max when I was a member. Like, doubt in the sense I used to think, she has seen the prophet so close. How can she, drifted off at the end after his death, Howard? But
Emma?
Sorry, Emma Smith.
His wife.
I'm getting.
No, it's good.
Something.
So
sorry,
Joseph,
Emma
how
Smith.
could Emma have
his
not
wife?
followed
His wife
Brigham?
is Emma, right?
Emma, yeah.
Okay. I think it's a good thing that I'm detaching,
Yeah.
and also sometimes I'm just mixing up names,
That you're
which is good.
forgetting it.
I'm
It's a good
forgetting
sign.
a lot of things.
It's a sign of growth that
It's
you're
a sign of
forgetting.
growth, and I'm proud of this.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been wanting to. That's a good thing. Anyways, but my respect for Emma has increased after leaving the church, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because of what this woman had gone through. Mm-hmm. I just can't. I wish if there is a heaven, if we can still meet, if there is a thing as such, I would probably first go and hug her and say, oh my God, I'm so sorry what you have gone through with this man. You don't deserve this. My respect for her increased dramatically after leaving the church. So I was, and then even after knowing all these things happened, and then I said, okay, there's no wonder my husband doesn't. And my husband is not someone who listens to anybody. He has his own thing. And I saw one of the biggest things I have to really emphasize on this is a member's reaction to our faith thing. How these people who know us 20, 25 years, called us your own family, like I can count on, suddenly they started to say mean things. When I was talking to one of the lady that I really know, trust her, and like my own sister, she's like, oh, since Brandon, he's now a doctor, that's what he's thinking.
That he left because he got educated.
Yeah, he left because he became a doctor. He's prideful now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Not that's because he's a doctor, And then there was a couple missionaries who came to visit me, and I was talking to them, whom I love very dearly. And I said, do you know these things that are happening? How do you deal with this and all these things? And one thing she said, they like to shut you down first. They don't like to talk about it. She says, Sirisha, if I'm duped, I like to stay duped. These are her exact words. Exact words. If I am duped, I want to stay duped.
Wow.
At that time, I couldn't say anything. And now I could ask her, why are you duping others now, at least? Why are you duping others? You want to stay duped? Stay duped. What right do you have to go to some foreign country, talk to people, and most of the people don't. They think that they have informed consent. They're doing all these things. None. I wouldn't join this church like, oh.
Okay, can I ask you about that? So let me tell you about a conversation I've had, either literally and theoretically. I've had both. If I were to talk to a Mormon believer and say, Mormon missionaries are deceptive and unethical when they go to a country like India and they don't tell the full church history because they're not, conforming with the rules and the ethics of informed consent. They'll say to me, no, the gospel's about Jesus and the gospel's about love and the gospel's about salvation and repentance. And if we tell, 14-year-old Sirisha, Joseph Smith was a polygamist, had 40 women, married 14-year-olds. The Book of Abraham is a false translation, and the Book of Mormon isn't historical, and the Kirtland Bank scandal. No organization is ever going to lead with its darkest moments or its history. It's gonna focus on what's most important. And honestly, it's going to focus on the positive stuff. And then once they join, once they have the Spirit, once they have more experience, then they can learn that stuff. But it's unreasonable to expect a missionary to tell all the dark, terrible secrets of the Mormon church, especially because the church is ultimately about Jesus. Now you're smiling, but what would you say? I can't
tell you how right you were on that. I'm like seeing myself. Yeah. And
so what would your response be to that now as a convert from India?
Oh my goodness. If people are saying that Mormon missionaries are not deceptive, oh my God. I don't know what to tell you. There is no evidence. I'll tell you one example. Right before my mission, little bit before my mission, there were senior couples who are from, I don't want to say the place. Anyways, so there were some senior couple missionaries. They definitely know about everything church history. I would, right? This, I met somebody. I was staying in a hostel at that time, and I met somebody, and it was my life's mission to convert everyone to Mormonism at that time. So I was just talking to this lady, and she was talking about, do you know, Mormon, Joseph Smith was a polygamist and all these things. I didn't even know the meaning of that word at that time. Mm-hmm. He had mindful wives. I'm like, no way he could have that. There's no way. For me, I couldn't take that. Immediately, I went to this couple of missionaries' house and asked her. I met this lady, and she said, this is what it is. And that couple of missionaries, she looked at me and she said, Sirisha, people are just jealous about this church, and they are spreading all these rumors about it. There's nothing, none of that is true. It is all a lie. She told to my face. And obviously, I'll believe that. Another experience I can think of is when I came here on my mission, during my mission to do the temple translation. I came alone for the first time. No, I think I had two more people. But I was leaving. The couple of missionaries were dropping me. And I saw this sign in a bridge, on the road. There's some sign, and they have some writings on that. It says, josephlight.com. Mm-hmm. I still remember that website. It happened almost 20 years ago. I saw it. Yeah. It says josephlight.com. And then I read it. I was like, josephlight.com? And then I turned to her and she says, I was going to ask her something. And she looks, don't even think about it. Don't even go there. And I'm like, okay. So they shut you down. They deliberately withhold information. Period. Mm-hmm. You can think whatever you want. They deliberately withhold. When you are going to developing countries, and when you are telling a single mom who is already struggling to meet her ends, is a missionary going and telling her, hey, you need to pay tithing. And what we do with your money, we have 100,000 whatever $billion, and we are going to invest that money, and we are going to make more money. But it doesn't matter if your kids go hungry for a day, but please, are the missionaries going to be that transparent and telling that single mom who is barely making enough to feed her kids that her money is going to go into that $1 billion fund or something?
To buy Disney stock and Tesla stock and Apple stock in the U.S. stock market.
Yeah. Are you going to tell? I'm challenging you. Are you going to tell, you missionaries, when you are going and talking to those people, can you tell this? You give that money, but we are going to invest. And not going to give you anything. If you need any help from us, we're going to ask you. We're going to kind of humiliate you. And we're going to say, come clean the chapel for the money we gave you for. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be that transparent? So for anybody to say that Mormon missionaries are honest, and no, absolutely not. You are deliberately hiding all these truths. And when someone comes to them, you give them a label saying anti-Mormon literature. And when someone questions, when I was talking to you about my admission to Utah State University and all these things, like, there were people, when I started questioning, these same people who said, I wish my daughter is half as faithful as you, or my son is half faithful as you, coming and telling me, saying, oh, we gave you this, we gave, who gave me what? Can you ask them to come and see me? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's so unfair to the people who are joining, and you twist the information, you twist how marriage at that time was underage. That's what people were doing, all these things. People can look at the data, and then you stop them saying, oh, that's what anti-Mormon literature is. Or what about history?
Yeah. So how did it feel for you when you realized you had sacrificed so much, including your family, your relationship with your grandma who passed, your mom, your uncle, moved here, sacrificed years of education, your career, your own connection with yourself? How did it feel when you realized the church had deceived you?
I really don't have words how to explain that, John. I have no words. I tried to make it work by, I don't know, where in spite of knowing these things, I said, I'm not going to go to church on Sunday. I'm not going to participate in religious things. I asked my bishop, first time in my life to release me from a calling. And I, because I have given, I couldn't just, I'm so too attached to this place. I just can't give up, although I came to know everything. And I was a young woman advisor, a teacher at that time. I asked him to release me from there were times I had 3-4 callings in India while doing translation, while doing these things, while doing a job and all these things. I never asked for a release. For the first time I did, and I'm not someone who sugarcoats things. I'm not someone who, when I went boldly told the people, this is the only truth. Now that I came to know, I'm not going to just sugarcoat and hide behind, try to deny it. I'm not that person. I value truth. I value honesty. And I told my bishop, he asked me why. I said, there is so much discrepancy. I cannot teach kids lies. Because I was teaching about Joseph Smith's story, one of the things, and I just couldn't say it. And I was like, according to the 4th version, and I started, and people were giving me looks, and I'm like, I just stopped thinking, these kids were taught something else in the house. Here I am teaching something else here. They're young kids, they're small kids. It's not fair for them, for me to do. And I just stopped, and I told him, I can wash bathrooms in the church. Give me that calling. But I can't teach anymore. Because I will be teaching lies if I have to follow, and I can't do that. And I would go to even activities, and the way people started treating me was so different. Now that I'm not believing anymore, I used to go for Relief Society activities. Even after leaving, it just wouldn't. One day, I remember going to the last time I went to church, I compared this to people who know, any members who are listening to this, when my mom told me not to meet the missionaries, when she closed the door, when the missionaries came, she didn't want me to. I had this feeling of I'm under the water, struggling for breath. That feeling, I have to talk to them. Or else I just don't know. I had that feeling. And everybody told me, see, that is the Holy Spirit. And I had the same experience again for the second time. This time I was sitting in my car on a Sunday, back in front of the Redlands Church. I just parked right. I never get a parking space. For the first time, I got that space where it faces directly to the church. I sat there. I couldn't open the car door and go inside. Brandon said he's not going to come. I didn't feel my kids to be safe in the church with all these things anymore. I want to protect them. I left them. I came alone. The same feeling. That returned. Like I was under the water and I'm struggling to breathe. Mm-hmm. And the moment I decided, put my gear in reverse, went back, I was able to breathe. Never came back again.
To church?
Mm-hmm. Never after that.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was 2018, I would say, 18, like that.
7 years ago. And you didn't tell your mom?
I told my mom. She wouldn't understand. For her, it's not any of these things that brought her in.
She's not in for the beliefs or the doctrine or the history.
She's not in for the belief. She's not in for the history. She's not in for any of this. For her, it's purely community.
Yeah.
And she's getting that community. She's still going till today.
Yeah.
She's there. And, for her, that's important. And she has other communities too. She goes to Jesus Calls, she goes to Baptist church, For her, it is one of them, a place that she can talk to people. And people are being nice to her, and they're fine. And I'd never told her not to go. I never tell anybody not to go. I tell them my experience. This is what it is. This is what I came to know. Make your own choice. I'm not the Mormons to manipulate, hypnotize someone to do something.
Right.
People need to make their own choice. Mm-hmm. And I never told my mom not to go either. I told this is what it is. And she says, I don't even care. I don't even know,
Yeah.
So what was it like for you at age, 40, to realize, 38, to realize you had built your life on untruths?
Yeah.
And then where did you go from there?
Yeah, 38, 37, something like that. Anyways, first couple of years, I was extremely depressed. I went to deep depression, running over the things. That's all I did. I wasn't doing my job. One thing is, it's like me coming out of myself, and I was looking at myself. What have you become? I just looked from top to bottom at my own self. What have they made it to you? I don't recognize the person you become anymore. Mm-hmm. But then I just can't go back. It's not a year or two that I lost. Okay, I'm going to start over and do it. Okay, I'm not disappointing anybody, but they say a decade of decisions for a reason. You make certain decisions between ages 15 and 25. That affects the rest of your life, because that is the age you are deciding.
Right.
What are you going to do with your life? Are you going to be a doctor? Are you going to be one Mormon missionary and try to do that? So that age, if there is anything I can tell to the future converts or anybody, I would say be careful what the decisions you made between 15 and those 25 years of age. Whom you marry, everything, whatever the choice is, you really can't undo those things. Yeah, you can try to, I have a career now, all these things. But for me, I went to deep depression. I just couldn't believe, like, I have become fallen for this. Wasted 24 years in this, giving up everything. What my life had become, I started to try to live in a different reality. My mental health has taken a big toll. I have to go to therapy. I have to go for counseling. That's all I could talk to people, like people who never even heard about Mormonism. And by the end, they talk to me. They can write a book. It was so much for me to take it, especially, and I was so lonely because suddenly, not only you lost this identity, your faith, everything, you lost your community. They don't want to deal with you anymore.
Yeah.
And say mean things about you, write me in Facebook messages and, like really, really mean stuff, character assassinate you. I never have, all I do is when I have an issue, when I see something and I talk openly about it, the people, they don't have a real substantial things to say, hey, what you're saying is not true or anything, right? So what they can do is to character assassinate you.
Did that happen to you?
Yes, absolutely. It happened to me a lot from different people, and the people to whom they know me so well. Mm. And some people say, she never had a testimony. That's a lot of people. Oh, she never had. Because for them, it is so hard to accept someone who really did everything, did all the things that is right, left it because it has lies. It's not something they can take it. They will never be able to take it. Mm-hmm. So what they can do is they can character assassinate. Oh, she never had it. She's in for a reason. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's painful. It's a lot of loss.
Mm-hmm. It's a loss of everything. It's loss of your precious time, loss of your opportunity, loss of your relationships.
Yeah.
With others, my own family.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not right what they have done to me. It's not right.
Did you feel amidst that reckoning time, did you feel a loss of kind of trust in yourself?
Yeah. Like I started telling open people, my own kids, I'm like, you know what, don't ever trust me. I became, like I lost trust on myself. It is a religion. No one should do that. When you leave something, either you should have good memories. I'm glad that happened, or else it's okay. But this,
right.
You end up in counseling that tells this is what a cult this is, because they have a cookie cutter. You have to fit in there. You have to lose everything else. My career is, I'm like, it took me a few years to come out of it. I just couldn't talk about it without breaking down. It was really hard for me. And we moved, and we were so lonely because all the people we knew in Redlands are members, and most people that close to us, none of them cared about anymore. So we moved to Central Valley, and my husband got a job there, and right now, it is much better, but those few years were some of the very hardest years of my life while I have young kids in the house. All this time, everybody is so willing to come help you anytime. Suddenly you are alone. Nobody's there to help you anymore. They just don't care. Once you know that it is done, you're done. Yeah. Again, not everybody. There's one sister that I'm grateful. She really, the visiting teacher, one person, she came and visited me even after I left. She never shared a message. She just came to say how you are. So I'm not saying 100% of all of them are like that, but mostly there are one or two exceptions. But most of them, seeing that how everybody is, how this church makes people to think, it's very scary.
Right.
Yeah. Some of the people, the way they behaved, said the hard things to me. And I was telling my husband, I'm like, you know what? I never want, even say there is nothing wrong with the church or history or anything. If leaving it is a reaction you get from the members, that itself is a big scary thing. Forget about doctrine, forget about history, forget about all those things. If leaving makes you people like treat you that bad, no, thank you.
Yeah. There are, sometimes Americans, and probably even more common Orthodox believing Mormon Americans believe that America is the chosen country. They probably believe that being white is the superior race, and that basically, even if you're smiling already, but even if the church didn't end up being true, you're lucky because you married a white guy, you got to live in the States, and now you're here, you're probably a citizen. Like, you won, even if you lost, you won the lottery because you get to live in America and be in a blessed country with the blessed race. You know what I mean? What would your response to that be?
Oh my goodness. There was a time, there was a time, I mean, as the Book of Mormon says, brown skin is a skin curse or something. Yeah. Again, I'm forgetting my scriptures, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good but one. Something it says about brown skin being a curse, right? White skin or something. Yes. I asked my seminary teacher at the time, she said, oh, it's okay, don't worry. If you're righteous, if you're unto the end, we will be white too. And I was excited for that. Yeah. So at that time, America was a Zion, the chosen land, that's what people say and all these things. I don't think that is true. It's a good country. I'm not denying that. It gives good opportunities. It's good for people. But I don't, how do I say this? I don't consider like America to be the best of the land. I consider myself to be, I'm coming here, maybe making more money than I would have made in India, probably go back or something. One thing that I realized after coming from the cult, from the Mormon church, is seeing how great my own country is. Up until then, I never even realized. Seeing my own culture, I always looked at it as like a Gentile country, idol worshippers. But I'm not religious anymore. I don't consider myself to be a practicing Orthodox Hindu, but as a culture, I am Hindu. Seeing how great, Mormonism teaches, or Christianity teaches, a man is a sinner just by birth. Man is born a sinner. Hinduism says, just because you're a man, that itself you're great.
Wow, it's like scarcity and abundance.
It is completely different.
Yes.
And I'm so sad I'm so far from my country.
Yeah.
I mean, now my kids are here, my husband is here, but I want to go back so bad. If there's anything I could do, I will never leave my country. Seeing how great Ayurveda, yoga, it's a gift my country gave into the Western people, yoga, And I have never seen that. I was so obsessed that the way they create this obsession, like in India, if anybody, their goal is to come to the States. Somehow they would have a better life there. But no, they'll come here, do whatever, but it has to be there. This creation, this is the right place, this is what it is. Just because you're here, that's enough.
Yeah.
No, I miss my country. I miss my culture. And the teachings of it, how if there is anything I'm seeing now more clearly, how blessed I am to be born in India. The land of spirituality. We invite everybody. We take care of people, irrespective of your religious background or everything. And you people come, defile us with your lies. Corrupt our country.
Yeah.
With your white Mormon lies about this thing. Joseph, all these things. I wish people know how great is my culture, how there are some, drawbacks here and there, the dowry system, I'm not denying that there are some things. But as a culture and as a country, I am so, so proud to be born. I love my brown skin. I hope the Mormons are wrong about turning it into white. I don't want it white.
Yep.
I love my brown skin. And I respect my husband because of what he is, not because of his color or because he's a doctor or because of anything, because of the goodness he's doing to the people.
Yeah.
Not because he's white. I love this country too. It has given me some opportunities, a good education and opportunities earned. I'm not denying that. But to say that this is blessed or chosen above, you cannot be more wrong about that.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Thank you for that.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Any final things you want to say about healing? Because I know there's going to be a lot of people who identify with the pain and the suffering and the sadness and the disillusionment and the depression and the feelings of betrayal. Any hope you want to give people about finding joy and health and happiness again? Or is it too soon?
No, it's not too soon, because a lot of Mormons told me, oh, where will you go now? Oh, what will you do now?
Right.
Oh, like it's the end of my life, a lot they kind of made. I just want to tell them, oh boy, you are so wrong. So wrong. Healing is not even like possible. It's for sure if you have the courage to come out. If you are pressurizing, if you think there's nothing out, trust me, it is. Oh, it was hard. I'm not denying that it was easy. It was hard. I still grieve over my lost life because I literally can't bring those 24 years back. The church stole it from me, those 24 years. But healing is possible, and whatever works for you. For me, reconnecting with my country is healing me. Reconnecting, doing my yoga, and seeing how all those things are already there that I never seen. I'm just blinded by something else. Whatever works for you, but healing is possible. I moved to a different place, found a job that I love, and that gives me fulfillment. I help kids indirectly. I'm in IT, and I have a community now.
Yeah.
Mormonism, not from my work. It's like a lot of Telugu people, a lot of them are doctors and stuff.
Cool.
I have very good community there.
Oh, wait, you found people from your native land.
Yeah, my
who
native
live
land. You live,
Yeah.
a lot of them are doctors, so and then they're very good people. They're not there to judge me. They're not there to,
Convert
oh,
you.
if you are not, they're all Hindus. There's not one Christian or other religion. They're all Hindus. And I take my kids to the temple, to the Hindu temple for festivals and all those things. And I tell them, my kids, you can follow any religion if you want. If you don't have to, you don't have to. There's not anybody called me ever, hey, we missed you in the temple on this puja day. What's going on with you? Yeah, they call me, see how am I doing, but there's nothing. So I'm very happy about the community I am in right now. The women, especially in my community, they are so different than the women I grew up with in the Mormon culture.
Yeah.
These are strong. I'm not saying they're not strong, but their strength is very different. When it comes to priesthood, they always put themselves down. But these women, they are doctors, they're business owners, they do 10 things. They have that independency, financial, everything. And I exchange their energy, and I'm healing in my own way. I'm not done there yet. I'm not there where I wanted to be there yet, but it's a journey. Healing is not linear. Some days up, it is down, but it will always, if you want it, it will be there. The healing will come.
Yes.
Beautiful. Did you always wear your more native dress, or is that something you've rediscovered?
I started wearing more recently, and...
So a few years ago, you would have been dressing more American style?
I would say mostly I would, I would probably wear everything. I love my Indian clothes. They're comfortable. They're beautiful. I wish I could have this colors, vibrant colors. Sometimes they're too eye-catchy, so I don't wear that much. But yeah, I love my culture, and I go every year to India. I go practice yoga and stuff, and it has been a very healing. I just can't believe how I denied it all these years, never when I was in India, but it's not just for your body. It transforms your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels very kind of full circle, like you've come kind
Going
of
back to my roots.
around. That's right. And also like a reclaiming of yourself. You know, you belong to yourself now, where the church
Yeah.
once maybe put a stake in you, you know,
Yeah.
and kind of wanted you for their own. It feels like you've taken yourself back. Would you agree?
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
that?
It's
Yeah.
full circle. Although I'm very far from my country, but it is healing me.
Yes.
I say that to my husband and says, I am yoga, I am Ganga, you know. It's in me. It was always in me.
Yes.
Somehow this lies just put a curtain, but now I'm seeing very clearly.
I see that. That's beautiful. We're so happy for that. Yeah, it was like in my opinion, that was one of the tragedies, I think, of Mormonism in particular, is just what a separator it is, what a disconnector it is from either people we love or people we don't know or other countries or, just other human beings, and from ourselves as well, like how it disconnects us and can make us unfeeling and can make us do terrible things to other people and feel justified or right,
Yeah.
And anyway, so this reconnecting that you're doing, it just feels really beautiful.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
You just gave me an aha moment. For the longest time, I would say the gift of the Mormon faith crisis is the rest of your life. But now I want to amend it. The gift of a Mormon faith crisis is you and the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get you back, huh?
I get myself back. I got myself back.
Yeah.
I'm seeing myself like never have before. I wish I could go and protect that 14-year-old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wish, but
What would you say to her?
run away from the Mormons. Run! Just run. Just run. Your life will be so good. Just run away. If you really wanted to join, wait for a few years. Make sure that your life, you do all those things. If someone is really dying to join, there is no expiry date. They'll take you anytime anyways. So just wait. Build a career, especially women. Get education, build a career. There are too many women staying in abusive marriage because they don't have a way out. Build a career, be financially independent, do all the things. And then, when you're probably at the 30s or 40s or something, or when you've done the major decision making, it will still be there. I don't think it's going anywhere. It will be there. But the decade of decisions, 15 to 25, please. Below 25, I would say. It's not like you can baptize at 8 and come out of 14 or something. When you're making decisions, no.
You're right. And that piece of informed consent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, they wouldn't expect, because I do know that concept of informed consent at that time. And people wouldn't know, unless they're actively searching. And even then, the church has answers for everything.
Right.
They have, when it comes to their things, they have all these readily available answers,
Yep.
The thing is the church could teach the principles of informed consent if it believed in them and wanted people to know them, right?
Yeah. They are... Okay, anyways.
What? Why are you laughing?
There is a saying that, if you can make someone who doesn't know anything at all, you can teach them, or people who knows everything they can teach, but people who pretend not to, the church is pretending. Mm-hmm. Pretending it is not doing any harm, pretending it is the best thing, pretending how it has all the truth. Mm-hmm. Deep down, I think I just don't know, It's another funny thing is, ever since I came to church, came out of church, a lot of people started to trust me even more. Some members, they call me, like some of them I don't even know, but somehow they know the word, and then they tell me their concerns, tell me this is what is happening.
They feel like you're safe to talk to.
They feel that I am safe to talk to, and I don't even know these people are. And I'm like, why don't you talk to your bishop? We have these things. Why don't you have these things? Oh no, we can't. You know what they'll say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, what a powerful story. I feel so moved by your journey. And honestly, you bring a level of passion towards the church, or maybe against the church missionary program, that I don't know I've seen as much before on Mormon Stories, but that makes total sense.
It's important.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm still glad because overall I found my husband, or I found my kids, and I got out of a rough situation. Mm-hmm. I think you're one of the first people I've ever met who's like, I would have been way better off never joining to begin with. I think you may be one of the first people that's ever actually said that, but I'm sure you're not alone in that.
Again, I love my husband. He's a good man.
Yes.
I love my kids.
Yes.
But there could have been other person who's good for him. There could have been other person who's good for me.
Yeah.
It is not like, he is the only one and only because of church. Or I would have probably met him in a different realm, and it would have still made it work. I really, there is the church has only brought me pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the worst thing I would say is all those people who showed me love, there are only 2 people that are in contact and who cares about me from Hyderabad, from those 2 girls. Everybody else, I was really devastated to see that the love never came from a real place of love. It was conditional.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All the care, all the things that I thought at that time they loved me, it was so conditional.
Yeah.
Right.
That was very hard for me to digest, and how they all turned out against me now.
Yeah.
I still love them. I still do. But I'm sorry for what that brainwashing, whatever. I don't blame them. It is their church, brainwashing or whatever it's making them. I have no ill feelings towards anybody. I wish them best if it is working for them. Yeah, but please be very careful when you're talking to somebody new who is not from this culture, who is not from this.
Right.
It will destroy us.
Yes, that's right.
That was our experience too. The Mormon friendship and Mormon love was deeply conditional.
Very conditional.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that, I'll just say kind of finally for me, is just how incredibly you gave to the Mormon church, how you just gave all, really.
Yeah.
And to what extent you trusted and were desperate, honestly, to because of how it's set up and how manipulative I think it is for you to have salvation and for you to have the kind of the things in heaven that you were told you needed. And now you get to decide who you give to.
Yeah.
And you get to give to yourself, And that just makes me feel deeply happy, because your giving is so special. And people should absolutely, I feel like, be deserving of what you give.
Yeah.
They should deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for sharing so generously with us today, and on some level reliving some really kind of hard things. So thank you.
I think this is my final closure as well, because it has been bothering. It's like looking into the eye of a demon for the last time. And I can tell you that the church, took away a lot from me, but I rose up like a phoenix.
You sure did.
You can't have your control all the time on me. I really don't care what you think of me. I'm going to live my life on my terms, and myself as a priority, and my kids, and makes me happy. There is not an old man sitting and telling me, validating what my decisions are. I don't care. What do you think of me? I care what I think of me.
Beautiful.
I'm not adding to that.
Nope, we'll just leave it there.
Beautiful. Well, Sirisha Shumway, thank you so much for the generosity and courage and hope you've given us all with your story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We honor you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. If nothing else, this is for my kids, again, as I said.
Yeah. But I know it's going to help a lot of people, and it may save some other people pain, the type of pain you've experienced. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today on Mormon Stories. We would love your comments and feedback. Please leave comments. I'm sure Sirisha will check the comments on YouTube. Maybe not, but please share them either way. Please email us at mormonstories@gmail.com if you have feedback. The way that we found out about Sirisha is just she applied. So if you have a story that you want to tell, we'd love you to go to mormonstories.org, scroll down until you find the application form, click on the form, apply, record a 3-minute video. Tell us why you believe your story will fit well with our audience, because that's what we're looking for. People that understand our audience and that understand why their story would connect with our audience. And we'd love to consider you for the podcast. Just really quickly, we couldn't do this without the support of our donors. Our revenue is struggling a bit right now, honestly, because people continually move on. So thank you if you're a donor. We couldn't do this without you. If you value this type of content and you want to see it continue, the way that you can keep this stuff alive is by going to mormonstories.org, click on the donate button, become a monthly donor, and that's how we're able to afford to keep going. Other ways you can help is by subscribing to the channel on YouTube or on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, by liking it, by liking this episode, by giving us a positive 5-star review on Spotify or on Apple Podcast or wherever you consume these podcasts. And again, just hearing your feedback is always useful. So thanks again for joining us. Margie, it's been so great to have you. Thank you for being... Everyone loves you, Margie. Everyone loves you.
Oh, I feel the love. Thank you all.
So thanks for being my co-host. And again, Sirisha, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity, John and Margie. Thank you.
And finally, thanks to Brooklyn and Julia, who and our board of directors that also keep everything going. Y'all be good to each other, be kind to each other, and we'll see you all again soon on another episode of Mormon Stories Podcast. Take care.